The Legion of Soldiers, the strongest civilization for hire. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151, Death of Jedilaka. Chen mixed in with the army of Norris and entered the main planet of Norris Civilization. However, the main planet of Norris Civilization can no longer be called a planet. The people of this civilization transformed the entire planet into a huge war fortress. This war fortress does not have the 9th level firepower, but it has dozens of gun barrels with the 8th level firepower. In a sense, this is more terrible than a 9th level war fortress. But such a war fortress can only be used for defensive battles. If you want to fight a mobile war, the energy to drive the movement of the planet may be greater than the energy consumption of releasing firepower in the battle. Of course, no matter how terrible the firepower of this planet that has been transformed into a war fortress is, for Chen, who has already mixed into this planet, it is no longer a threat. What Chen needs to do now is to stay by Lameshu's side, pretending to be Lameshu's guard, and wait for the opportunity. However, Jedilaka is not on the main planet of Norris Civilization at this time, since the Shura Empire had sent out a large number of level 8 combat forces. Jedilaka himself had to carry the level 9 war robots of the Norris Civilization to the battle line with Sampton. However, with the great victory of Lameshu and the confirmation of the existence of the ruins, Jedilaka is already on the way back to the main planet. The third-generation divine body that first came with Lameshu to attack the Shura Empire had to go to the front line to fill the vacancy left by Jedilaka after retreating. However, Chen and the others did not wait for long. After only 2 days, Jedilaka returned to the main planet of the Norris Civilization. Chen stayed in Lameshu's guard team and went to greet Jedilaka. However, now is not a good time for a sneak attack. It is not that the assassination cannot be successful now, but because it is difficult for Lameshu to quickly suppress the unrest within the Norris Civilization. After all, seeing it with your own eyes and not seeing it with your own eyes are two completely different things. You will feel shocked if you learn about this matter through the information sent by others, but if you witness such a thing with your own eyes, it will undoubtedly cause panic. After the panic, it will be much more difficult to smoothly take over the Norris Civilization. Chen also met Jedilaka at this welcoming ceremony. At this time, Jedilaka is not as collapsed and decadent as he will be when he is pushed by players in the future. Although, as Lameshu said, this person has gradually lost his ability in the past because he is addicted to the life of the Emperor. But now, he is wearing this heavy blue armor and is nearly 3 meters tall. At first glance, he is still very imposing. Lameshu, you did a great job this time. Jedilaka put his hand on Lameshu's shoulder and patted him heavily. In the end, the two walked to the palace one after the other, and the guards where Chen was also followed them to the palace. After arriving at the meeting room of the palace, Jedilaka and Lameshu walked in, while the other guards stayed outside the meeting room. Chen was ready to go. The super combat power-up card was in his backpack. As soon as he used it, he could immediately burst out with combat power close to that of the 4th-generation divine body. Among the guards he was in, there were 3 2nd-generation divine bodies and 15 1st-generation divine bodies. 2 of the 2nd-generation divine bodies were theirs, while the others were not. Now they needed to wait for Lameshu in the conference room to issue the attack order. Lameshu, you completed your mission very well this time, but you said before that in that ruins, in addition to the weapons and knowledge left by that empire, there are other treasures. Jedilaka asked. Before coming, in order to ensure the smooth progress of the plan, Chen planned to let Lameshu attack first and use electromagnetic weapons to temporarily affect Jedilaka's divine body function. It is a storage depot of top-level resources. What did you say? Jedilaka stood up from his seat excitedly. Top-level resources are something that even the 9th-level civilization lacks, because in order to create high-level divine bodies, weapons and warships, Top-level resources are inevitably required, and there is no stable production point of top-level resources in the universe. It is precisely because of the lack of top-level resources that the Norse civilization has only one level 9 combat force so far. In addition to that resource library, I also found some top-level resource ores outside. Lameshu pretended to be planning to obtain top-level resources from the ruins, but suddenly he took out a dagger and stabbed it towards Jitraka. Dang! Lameshu's pupils shrank. Silver armor suddenly appeared on the surface of Jitraka's body. This armor blocked the dagger. You dared to betray me. Although Jitraka has been addicted to pleasure due to years of imperial life, the whole person has been half abandoned, but he deeply remembers how he climbed to the throne. So no matter at any time, he hides this armor with a defense power of the top 8. At this time, he looked at Lameshu with a shocked face, not expecting that this person he had always trusted so much would actually betray him. Attack! Lameshu shouted. Although the first season failed, there was no time to think about it. Chen rushed into the meeting room at the first time. After seeing the silver armor on Jitraka, he was stunned for a moment. However, he had thought of this situation before. With the silver armor on his body, Jitraka resisted Chen's attack, and the two started a fight. The armor on Lameshu had been given to Chen, and his combat effectiveness was not high at this time. If he joined in, it might affect Chen's performance, so he simply went outside to stop the soldiers who were attracted by the noise. This was because Lameshu had put down the sky prison device inside the meeting room, and Jitraka had no way to get in touch with his army in a short time, and Chen couldn't take Jitraka for a while. Although his divine body gene has reached the level of the 4th generation through the Super Combat Power Enhancement card. However, due to his lack of familiarity with this divine body gene, he has not been able to exert all of the strength of the divine body gene, and the weapon in his hand is only a level 7 weapon after upgrading to a level 8 weapon. Although he had been strengthened by his own divine body energy and the life energy of the light particles in his body, the power he burst out was barely reaching the 9th level. He could cause damage to Jitraka, but the damage was not fatal. My king, there is a weak point on the back of this silver armor. It should have been damaged and repaired later, but the defense is not as good as before. If you concentrate your power there, you should be able to penetrate this armor directly. Introduce the god-killing energy into the opponent's body. In order to ensure the smooth progress of this plan, Chen brought Zhao to his side to provide him with computing power support. Got it. After listening to Zhao's calculation results, Chen instantly appeared behind him after shaking Jitraka away with a sword. He drove all his energy to the extreme and pierced the weak point analyzed by Zixi. The silver long sword pierced into Jitraka's body. The god-killing energy rushed into Jitraka's body, constantly destroying Jitraka's divine body genes. Jitraka looked at Chen with disbelief in his eyes, but Chen ignored Jitraka's gaze at this time. He just silently poured the god-killing energy in his body into Jitraka's body. 10 seconds later, as Chen continued to input energy, the god body gene in Jitraka's body was completely destroyed. The guy who became the king of the Norse civilization by despicable means died. Chapter 152 Combat Power Improvement. This day is destined to be an unforgettable day for the Norse civilization, because on this day, their king was assassinated, and the person who assassinated their king was the youngest son of their previous king. The new king led an army of 9 million space battleships to quickly suppress all the rebels within the civilization. The troops on the border that were fighting against the Samton civilization had not even reacted yet, and their king was replaced. So a war broke out within the civilization. Master, Madeline and Lemita led an 8th level war fortress, 3 8th level combat robots, 4 8th level space battleships, and 4 million regular troops to directly abandon the front-line defense against the Samton civilization and have embarked on the road back to the main planet, wanting to compete with us for the kingship. Lameshu told Chen about the current situation. That 9th level combat robot, can you control it now? Chen didn't care about this matter. In his opinion, as long as they showed 2 9th level combat capabilities, the troops that came back to compete for the kingship would naturally surrender and obey. Not yet, The reason why Jitraka could use this level 9 combat robot smoothly was because my father gave him the first priority to use the combat robot except for the royal family. At that time, all the royal family members died except me, and I was very young and weak at that time. Even if I inherited the combat robot, I would still be killed, so I chose to escape. After confirming that the last heir of the royal family was missing, the combat robot naturally belonged to Jitraka. But Jitraka deleted our authority directly after owning the combat robot. If we want to use it now, we can only forcibly crack the program of this combat robot, Lamishu explained. This is a bit troublesome. They dare to come back like this now. I am afraid they are sure that you are not able to master the level 9 combat robot now. Chen sighed. After all, he was not able to use the full level 9 combat power. If he relied on himself alone, he might not be enough to threaten the opponent. If Lamishu cannot master the 9th level combat robot in time, war may be inevitable. Chen went to the combat training room of the Norris Civilization. The conditions of this combat training room are better, which should help him master his current 3rd generation divine body genes faster. Have all the front-line legions of the Norris Civilization withdrawn? Yes, according to the intelligence investigated by our front-line legions, there seems to be a problem inside the Norris Civilization, so their front-line legions will withdraw. A 3rd generation divine body of the Samton Civilization answered their king's question. If they can give up the confrontation with us, then there must be an extremely huge problem inside their civilization. Either they are facing an attack from another extremely powerful force, or there is a power dispute. The king of Samton, the 4th generation divine body, one of the most powerful main gods in the known universe, Rilnok, stood up from his throne. Integrate our army, no matter what happens to them. This is our best chance. Yes, Sacred Keshal, god of death Karl, demon queen Morgana, Cloud Lord Ubalrat, Silver King Faduna, God of War Kaiyu Lun, King of the Sea Rilnos, Evil Eye Moto, Beast Body, God of Wisdom, Triangle Body, No Name, are all the main gods in the universe who have reached the level of 4th generation divine bodies. Of course, there are other 4th generation divine bodies, but they are not main gods, such as Hizai, the king of the angel civilization, and Ji-Lan, the god of time who travels through the universe with consciousness. There are also other 9th level civilizations, but their 9th level combat power is not a divine body. Only 1 day left. Chen walked out of the training room. The training room of the Norris Civilization is indeed much stronger than that of the Shura Empire. In the past few days, Chen has fought with a large number of simulated 8th level combat forces. His mastery of the divine body gene in his body has been greatly improved. Before the training in the past few days, Chen's mastery was only about 15%, but now the mastery has reached 35%. Because of the experience in the previous life, although this divine body gene is different, Chen used the standardized divine body gene in a previous life, and this one is the Chen system, but in terms of energy intensity and physical strength enhancement, they are basically the same. The only difference is the ability. So you only need to fight with a strong enough opponent to quickly master the divine body gene. Of course, this can only improve the initial mastery speed. It still takes a certain amount of time to master the divine body gene ability in the later stage. La Mixiu, how is the decryption of the use rights of the 9th level combat robot going? Chen communicated with La Mixiu directly through the dark plane. Almost. It has reached 85%. That means there is still 15%. According to your previous speed analysis, it will probably take 2 days to completely complete the decryption? Yes, I'm very sorry, my master. Chen frowned. He has only mastered 35% now, which means that now he uses the Super Combat Power Enhancement card to master 35% of the ability of the 4th generation divine body. Fortunately, although the Norris Civilization's arsenal has not been cracked yet, Chen successfully cracked Trandandaz's personal arsenals and obtained 3 level 8 weapons. Because if their personal arsenals were cracked, it would cause a reaction inside the Norris database, so before killing Jitara, Chen did not take their weapons from Randandaz's side. In addition to the armor obtained from Lamechute before, at least after using the Super Combat Power Enhancement card, Mo Chen's equipment can reach the level of level 9. Mo Chen plans to leave Norris Main Star. He can't really let the opponent's army reach the edge of Norris Main Star. He has to go to the former Norris frontline army. The opponent has only not responded to the information sent by him so far, and has not officially declared war on him. Although Mo Chen is a level 9 combat power, he will give the opponent a sense of oppression, but the real influence on the opponent's decision must be the level 9 combat robot that has long belonged to their Norris civilization. What Mo Chen has to do now is to get involved with them for another day. It only takes 2 days for the other party to retreat without a fight. Chapter 153, Real Knock Attacks. In the Deep Universe, a fleet was advancing at high speed with the help of the Great Insect Bridge technology, but suddenly, a person appeared in front of their fleet. Stop! The commander of the vanguard of this fleet was one of the 2 third-generation divine bodies here. Lameta. This was a regular army of the Norris civilization that had been through many battles and could do very well in all aspects, so it was natural that the vanguard's warships would not stop moving forward, and the warships behind would not have time to stop and crash into the warships in front. Lameta sent a second-generation divine body to ask the person who was blocking them about his intentions. However, when the second-generation divine body was still 500 meters away from the person, it was restricted by a strong energy wave. Seeing this scene, Lamechio's expression became extremely solemn. He left the front line and decided to meet the person in person. When he arrived at the position of the second-generation divine body before him, he felt the powerful energy. This energy made his body extremely uncomfortable, and the divine body gene in his body was extremely resistant to this energy. What really shocked Lameta was that the intensity of this energy had reached level 9, and the source of this energy was the person blocking their fleet. If the other party did not have any level 9 equipment, then the person standing 500 meters in front of him was a 4th-generation divine body. I don't know why you blocked us. You are the frontline garrison of the Norris civilization. Why did you return for no reason? Mo Chen did not answer the other party's question directly. After hearing this, Lameta suddenly had a very bad premonition in his heart. We are indeed the guards on the front line of the Norris civilization. Our mission is to protect the safety of the Norris civilization, but now, our king has been assassinated. A new person has become our king. I'm sorry, we can't accept it for the time being. Such a brand new king makes it difficult for me to believe that we are still guarding the Norris civilization of the past. After listening to Lameta's words, Mo Chen sneered in his heart. In the final analysis, it was just for power. If it was really to protect their civilization and their race, it would be impossible to withdraw now and let the troops of the Samton civilization enter the range of the Norris civilization. When Qin Shi Huang unified the 6 kingdoms and the Qin kingdom fell apart, the troops guarding the border of the Qin kingdom who did not withdraw until the demise of the Qin kingdom were the ones who truly and wholeheartedly protected their national civilization. The Norris civilization will still be the Norris civilization, and it will be a more orthodox Norris civilization. Your original king is just a usurper. Let me introduce myself. I am the future patron saint of the Norris civilization, a 4th-generation divine body. Mo Chen released a more powerful energy pressure. Lameta's face became ugly. Samton's army has begun to move. If you withdraw now, there may be a way to stop them. Otherwise, this war will inevitably start within the sphere of influence of the Norris civilization. Mo Chen stood there and said coldly. Soon another figure flew out from the fleet of warships. The person who came was another 3rd-generation divine body, Madelvine. What happened? Madelvine asked Lameta. That guy is a 4th-generation divine body, known as the future patron saint of the Norris civilization. It is probably because of his existence that Lamechute was able to successfully kill Idaraka and become the new king. 4th-generation divine body. Madeline looked at Mo Chen in shock, but soon he calmed down. Sir, you should not be from the Norris civilization. As a 9th-level civilization, our civilization does not need an external 4th-generation divine body to become our patron saint. It is your king who made me the patron saint of your civilization. Looking at the performance of the 2 people on the opposite side, Chen had a premonition that he might inevitably have to fight with them. I think that the true patron saint of our civilization, the 9th level combat robot, you probably haven't been able to use it yet. Madeline took out his weapon, which was a huge mace. After seeing Madeline's action, Lemito also took out his red copper spear. Seeing this, Chen sighed. 2 long swords appeared beside him. Seeing these 2 long swords, Madeline and Lemito were also stunned. It seems that Rand and Iz have been captured by you, Lemito said angrily. The 2 swords belong to Rand and Iz respectively. Die! Madeline and Lemito rushed towards Chen. Behind them, more than 20 second-generation gods and an 8th level combat robot flew out of the fleet. Why can't you just surrender? Chen and Madeline fought each other. My king, they have indeed withdrawn their entire army, the commander of the frontline army of Sampton said to their king, the king of the sea, Rilnock. Rilnock closed his eyes. Although the army here had all retreated, the fortress was still here. He was obtaining intelligence information here through the dark plane. Jedalaka is dead. There was civil strife within the Norse civilization, and a new king was born, and their frontline army did not recognize this king. After a long time, Rilnock obtained all the information here and spoke. This is our chance. The last time a new king was born in the Norse civilization, our war started. Now, they have given birth to a new king again, and this time the war will end. Our Sampton civilization will completely conquer the Norse civilization, Rilnock said to all his troops through the dark space. Keep moving forward. Chapter 154 Sampton Retreat. Chen let out a long sigh, although he didn't need to worry about his energy problem. For the time being, the 2 sides have been fighting for more than an hour, and he has several more wounds on his body. Even though the armor has been upgraded to the 9th level, facing the opponent's continuous attacks, it is still a bit unbearable. However, the situation of those who besieged him is even more serious. The injuries on the 3 8th level combat forces are much more serious than Chen's. As for the 2nd generation divine bodies that surrounded him, almost all of them have lost their combat effectiveness. After all, the destructive and domineering nature of Chen's god-killing energy is unmatched by any other energy when targeting divine bodies. There is no need to continue this battle. It's just a change of king. Your status will not be reduced because of this. Madeline and others did not answer. In fact, from the moment they saw Chen, the 4th generation divine body, they knew that even if they forced a war now, there would be no possibility of victory. However, they could not give up so easily. From the previous fight, they could already feel that it had not been long since these 4th-generation gods were promoted to the 4th-generation divine bodies. Although they were equipped with level 9 equipment, their mastery of their abilities was still very low. Even Raynok could not make them surrender on his own, and this newly promoted 4th-generation divine body was even less likely. However, they also stopped attacking. Both they and Chen understood that as long as they waited until Lamishu could use the level 9 combat robot, they would surrender. The reason why they dared to come before was because they thought that Lamishu's current level 8 combat power was much less than theirs, so it was impossible for him to quickly master the level 9 combat robot. So they thought they could fight a quick battle, quickly defeat Lamishu, and then deal with the coming Sampton civilization. Now in a quick battle, since the opponent has a level 9 combat power, it is inevitable that they can't fight. If they still want to fight, it will undoubtedly allow Sampton civilization to reap the benefits. After all, they were from the Norse civilization. They had fought a long war with the Sampton civilization. Even if Lamishu was made king, they would not really want the Sampton civilization to take advantage. So the 2 sides were in a stalemate for 2.5 days. 2.5 days later, Lamishu led his 3 million troops and the 5 million troops of the Shura Empire, as well as the level 9 combat robot that had finally successfully cracked the permission to use it after a long time. Lemita led a group of 2nd-generation gods to fly out of the battleship group. We surrender. Where is Madeline? Lamishu did not see Madeline among the group. He refused to surrender, but he was unwilling to fight at such a juncture, so he chose to leave. Madeline was actually a 3rd-generation god before Jitraka became the king of the Norse civilization. At that time, Jitraka was the long victorious general of the Norse civilization, and Madlvin was his deputy. Madlvin actually knew that Jidaraka wanted to rebel at that time, but he neither supported nor opposed it. After Jidaraka became king, Madlvin saw that Jidaraka gradually became a foolish monarch. He also warned Jidaraka, but Jidaraka did not listen. So Madlvin took the initiative to go to the forefront of the Norse civilization to fight. The relationship between him and Jidaraka gradually became distant. It was also because of Madlvin's departure that Lamazu could slowly increase his power around Jidaraka. After knowing Madlvin's decision, Lamazu also sighed. Since you have decided to surrender, don't think so much. Bring your army into our army. The army of Samton civilization will be here soon. Chen said lightly. The army of Samton civilization swaggered from the defense line where Madlvin and his men retreated and entered the sphere of influence of Norse civilization. During this process, the detection machines along the way continuously transmitted their positions to the main star of Norse. Of course, Rilnok also thought that this might be a conspiracy set up by the other party, letting them in, and then surrounding them, trying to destroy them completely. But Rilnok was not afraid. He led a total of 13 million space battleships, almost all the regular troops of their civilization, and they also had 2 9th-level combat forces. For so many years, the other party relied on the fortresses on the defense line for defense. Otherwise, as long as they broke through the defense line, the army of Norse would not be able to stop them at all. In this way, half a day later, Chen and others saw the fleet of battleships coming from a distance. Oh, it seems that your Norse civilization has not had a civil strife. Rilnok, wearing golden armor and holding a silver-white trident, slowly walked out of the battleships of the Samton civilization. The Norse civilization has indeed changed a new king, but the civil strife has not broken out. Chen also walked out of the battleships of the Norse side. Who are you? Rilnok felt the energy fluctuations in Chen's body. This was not something that an ordinary third-generation divine body could have. The patron saint of the Norse civilization. Chen replied. Suddenly, 2 flying blades stabbed towards Chen. Ding, ding. 2 long swords appeared beside Chen to block the 2 flying blades. At the same time, because Chen's control over his body was not enough, the energy was completely released. This also made Rilnok certain that the person who claimed to be the patron saint of the Norse civilization was also a 4th-generation divine body. This is not very polite. Chen frowned and looked at Rilnok. This is really surprising, but I think you are not the 4th-generation god created by the Norse civilization itself. The opponent is often the person who knows oneself best. After so many years of war, Rilnok is very sure that the Norse civilization does not have the resources to create another 4th-generation divine body. I am indeed not the 4th-generation god created by the Norse civilization itself, but this does not prevent me from becoming their patron saint. You should understand that my army has come from afar. It is impossible, just to see if there is any civil strife in your civilization. A cruel smile appeared on Rilnok's face. But you should also know that you can't take down the Norse civilization in this battle. Chen was unmoved. You gave up your front-line fortress, and your front-line fortress is the real reason why we have blocked the attack of our civilization for so many years. But now you have given up the front-line fortress. Even if we can't take it down once, we can attack a second time and a third time. Sooner or later, we will take down your Norse civilization. Rilnok obviously would not give up his plan because of Chen's words. No, after 5,000 years of war, the contradiction between our 2 civilizations has become irreconcilable, and the seeds of hatred have already taken deep root in the hearts of all the people in the 2 civilizations. So if you really want to take down the Norse civilization, the Norse civilization can fight until only the last one is left. But if the war reaches that point, what you can gain is far less than what you lose. In this case, your civilization will have no way to compete for the secret treasure of Reliat. Chen used the communication of the Dark Plane to say the last sentence. Sure enough, Chen also saw that Rilnok's face became serious. All those who have known Reliat cannot help but be moved by its secret treasures. The knowledge in it is enough to make the entire universe crazy. Rilnok also knew that with the emergence of the second 9th-level combat power of the Norse civilization, they would pay a huge price if they wanted to win again. After all, They would not be like the Angel Civilization, who hunted down the Demon Civilization at almost all costs. Holy Keshaw did not recognize the void, nor did he believe in Reliant. But not recognizing and not believing does not mean that the other party does not exist. The Samton Civilization had already entered the 6th level civilization 40,000 years ago. They had witnessed the horror of the Chen Civilization. Compared with Reliant, everything about the Norris Civilization was nothing. I can choose not to start a war, but what can I get? You will get nothing, because you can't start this war now, and there is no need for us to beg you. Mo Chen, who knew everything, knew clearly that now Realnock had already had the intention to retreat, so he would naturally not give in on this matter. Realnock was very angry. You should know that we can completely retreat to your fortress and continue to harass your civilization. If that happens, we will take the initiative to start a war. Mo Chen smiled faintly. In the past, the Norris Civilization could only defend because they lacked a 9th level combat force. If they took the initiative to attack, there was a great possibility that they would not only fail to win, but also suffer great losses. But now, when the number of 9th level combat forces is equal, the Norris Civilization has the ability to take the initiative to start a war. Realnock looked at Mo Chen deeply. Tell me your name. Shura God. Mo. I'll remember you. Realnock turned around. All troops retreat. Chapter 155 Expansion Lord Treaty. The crisis is over. After seeing the Samton army leave, Mo Chen also turned back to the fleet of the Norris Civilization. Thank you, Master, Lamishu said to Mo Chen through the dark plane. After all, he is still the king of the Norris Civilization. Within 1,000 years, the Samton Civilization will not launch an attack on Norris again. Mo Chen's voice was transmitted to everyone in the Norris army through the dark plane. For a time, every space battleship was filled with cheers. The people of the Norris Civilization and the Samton Civilization did hate each other, but since the Samton Civilization had a 2nd level 9 combat power, the war pressure that the Norris Civilization has endured has been far greater than that of the Samton Civilization. Now that they can get a 1,000 year truce, they are naturally very happy. In this way, the Shura Empire should be able to develop steadily until the start of the plot event Star Domain Invasion. Mo Chen thought secretly in his heart. Star Domain Invasion, but a large-scale event released by the Dream Realm 100 years after the player enters the game. At that time, a large number of NPC civilizations of level 5-6 will invade this barren area. From the background of the activity given by the system, the reason why these NPC civilizations invaded this area is that there are undercurrents in the universe, and many level 8 and 9 civilizations began to forcibly occupy the sphere of influence of lower-level civilizations, mainly resource stars. After losing their sphere of influence, those lower-level civilizations began to develop in other places, and the barren area where the players are located has become the primary target. And now, Mo Chen has obtained a lot of information. Now looking at the background of the activity given by the system, it is probably that those level 8 and 9 civilizations began to acquire resources and expand their armaments in order to cope with the future war for Reliant. At the same time, it is also to obtain a larger search range for the database of Reliant civilization. However, the reason why this is only a short-term activity and has not continued is because when it was discovered that these level 8 and 9 civilizations in the universe did such a thing, several level 8 and 9 civilizations headed by the Angel Civilization began to put pressure on other civilizations, so the situation has been reduced a lot. After the incident of Norris Civilization was resolved, Mo Chen led his army back to the Shura Empire. The Shura Empire can now enter a period of development as before. However, Yun Feng's words and an incident in the Shura Empire changed Mo Chen's original plan. Since the Shura Empire is now on the imperial route, it needs to constantly conquer player civilizations in this process, which is different from the route of obtaining subordinate civilizations. After being conquered by Mo Chen, the player civilization can only obtain the governance rights within its original sphere of influence, and the military power is completely lost. It is equivalent to these players becoming officials of the Shura Empire in this area. If it is a subordinate civilization, they not only retain the governance rights, but also the military rights. and even have the right to expand outward. This has led to complaints from some players who have surrendered to the Shura Empire. Not long ago, a very bad situation was discovered in the Shura Empire. A player was domineering in his original territory, continuing to live the extravagant days of the previous civilization master, and levying heavy taxes on the people under his rule, making the people there miserable. After learning about this incident, officials of the Shura Empire punished the player, removed his official position, and sentenced him to death after multiple trials. This led to dissatisfaction among many players, and many players started a rebellion within the area they governed. For this reason, the Shura Empire killed hundreds of players because of this incident. These players originally signed an agreement with the Shura Empire when they surrendered, and these things were already stipulated. But other players did not think so. So many players began to denounce Chen and Yunfeng's words were also because of this incident. Boss, now because of those people you killed not long ago, the players are very dissatisfied with this. After all, other players will take them as subordinate civilizations after conquering the player civilization, and rarely kill their players. It is precisely because of this that the situation of a large number of players dying in the civilization war in the early days has been greatly reduced. Your Shura Empire was able to develop so smoothly before, largely because of the series of policies you issued before. But now it is very obvious that the players are used to being the masters of their own civilizations, and it is difficult for them to accept the treaty restrictions of the laws of your empire. And if you kill every such player according to your own laws, you will gradually lose your position in the hearts of the players, and at the same time, when your empire is expanding, the player civilization will not surrender to you so easily. The auction business of our alliance among the players will also be greatly affected. So I recommend that you issue a new policy. This policy is specifically for those players who want to obtain their own completely autonomous forces. That is to expand the Lord Treaty. If the players choose to sign this treaty, they need to contribute 80% of the resource stars in their original territory. They can keep all their troops and 20% of the resource stars, and they will lead their own troops to expand outward, and 50% of their newly obtained life stars and resource stars will be unconditionally handed over to the empire, and the other 50% will belong to themselves. When they plan to attack a player civilization, the army of the Shura Empire can help them. The defeated player civilization will also sign the Expansion Lord Treaty. As a result, the player can get 40% of the 80% of the resource star resources and life star resources obtained, and the Shura Empire will get 60%. This is the plan I can think of. For the players, Chen is actually gradually having a strange emotion now. In the previous life, although 1,000 years have passed, Chen has been competing with other players during those 1,000 years. But in this life, the Shura Empire has developed too fast, and it has been far ahead of other player civilizations. Sometimes Chen even felt that his civilization was an NPC civilization. What he had experienced, what he had thought about, and who he had talked to had all become NPC civilizations. He no longer valued the player civilization as much as when he was just born. The reason why players were called the Fourth Calamity was that they could be resurrected, but there was no resurrection here. But not valuing the player civilization did not mean that it was useless to Chen. In this life, because Chen had given early warnings when facing the Void invasion in the first year, the player's losses had not reached 20% of the previous life. At the same time, in this life, with the title Chen had obtained and the various benefits and activities unlocked, the strength of the player civilization had been greatly enhanced. In the future, the role that the player civilization could play would be even greater. Chen had also considered how he could live in harmony with other players as he developed his empire. However, due to the pressure of fighting against the advanced NPC civilization, Chen put this matter aside for the time being. Now that the pressure of war has disappeared, the issue of coexistence with other player civilizations must be put on the table again. And Yunfeng said that the suggestion given was indeed a good way, but it still needs some modifications. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo fanfic novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156, The Second Generation Divine Body, Nagasaw. Player civilizations that surrender to the Shura Empire can sign the Expansion Lord Treaty. In the treaty originally signed between the Shura Empire and the players retained their right to govern their own civilizations, but they still had to abide by the special official law given by the Shura Empire, only for the requirements of player officials, and they also had to give up their military rights. After giving up the military rights, the resource stars would no longer be useful to these players, so all the resource stars of those players were handed over to the Shura Empire for mining. The Expansion Lord Treaty proposed by Yunfeng is actually not problematic in many aspects, but the real core problem has not been solved. On the other hand, these players are used to being domineering when they are the masters of civilizations. After being constrained by the Shura Empire's special official law, it is difficult not to feel disgusted. Even if some players are not the kind of licentious and excessive, on the contrary, they are still relatively powerful. But the way they govern their subordinates may also violate the Shura Empire's special official law. If this point cannot be resolved, then the contradiction between the Shura Empire and the players will always exist. So Chen decided to make some additions and modifications to the Expansion Lord Treaty. First of all, these player civilizations can retain the full autonomy of their original main stars, without being restricted by the Shura Empire's special official law. However, all other life stars under their command will belong to the Shura Empire. The resource stars they obtain during the war can be divided in half, but only 20% of the life stars can be retained. At the same time, when these Expansion Lord players capture other player civilizations, the Shura Empire can indeed provide military support, but it will not exceed 50% of their original military strength, and the Shura Empire's army will retain independent command. After the capture is successful, all the life stars of that player civilization will belong to the Shura Empire. If the other party signs an Expansion Monarch Treaty, then the 80% of the resource stars harvested will be divided in half. If the other party signs an ordinary treaty, then 60% of the resource stars harvested in the end will belong to the Shura Empire. In short, the other party's expansion rights and military rights can be retained, but the territories and population they can govern will be very strictly restricted. However, the territories they can govern will no longer be restricted by the Shura Empire's special official law. In this case, it is equivalent to the players under the Shura Empire constantly helping the Shura Empire to expand the number of players, and these players will also help the Shura Empire expand its sphere of influence. The original Shura Empire plundered the resources of players, and these players would also become a burden to the Shura Empire in the process of developing its own civilization. But now through this treaty, the players are equivalent to becoming workers of the Shura Empire. And facing the powerful Shura Empire and another treaty, they will also gladly accept the fate of becoming a worker. However, after some thinking, Chen finally added two more. That is, if a player who has signed the Expansion Lord Treaty does not lead his army to expand outside for more than 10 years, then this treaty will automatically become an ordinary treaty. At the same time, the player's army must also be equipped with 2 Shura Empire's monitoring ships. For this reason, Chen ordered that General Yunyuo, who is now in charge of the center of the Shura Empire, be fully responsible for the management of the monitoring ship. All players within the Shura Empire will have an opportunity to change their ordinary treaty into an Expansion Lord Treaty. However, for the Expansion Lord Treaty, each player has only one chance to sign it. Once they choose not to sign, they will never have the chance to become Expansion Lords again. When Chen promulgated this treaty, almost all the players under the rule of the Shura Empire fell into a state of excitement. All along, when they were defeated by the Shura Empire, they were very envious of other players. Even if they became subordinate civilizations, they could still obtain a great degree of autonomy, military power and expansion rights. Only a small number of relatively indifferent players were not dissatisfied with this. Now, Although the issuance of expansion sovereignty is not as free as other subordinate civilizations, it has obtained more rights than in the past. So in the end 98% of the players chose to sign the expansion sovereignty. And because the armies of these players had been disbanded or incorporated by the Shura Empire before, their warships and weapons were all handed over. After a period of time, these warships and weapons have been eliminated and resmelted and put into use in other places. So the Shura Empire provided these civilizations with early resources and warships and weapons assistance. This kind of aid is mainly issued in the form of aid points, and aid points are mainly given after a series of calculations based on the player's strength at the time of surrender and the time of surrender. Players can exchange aid points for the current warships, weapons and even super soldier genes of the Shura Empire. The highest exchange can even reach level 5 space battleships, weapons and 5th generation super soldier genes. For a time, a wave of expansion lords was set off in the territory of the Shura Empire. At the same time, the Shura god, Mo, this name also began to spread in the universe. This new patron saint of the Norse civilization, a powerful 4th generation god body. His appearance also attracted the attention of many forces in the universe. But now the other party is only a patron saint, not a main god, and is also very low-key. So it is known that no main god meeting was held in the universe. The Lord God Conference is a conference that is higher in level than the top civilization conference. Since the entire known universe has already recognized that the most powerful combat power in the current universe is the 4th generation divine body, and those who can become the Lord God mean that they have 9th level computer behind them to assist in computing power, and their combat power will be stronger than other 4th generation gods. Therefore, the Lord God Conference is equivalent to a meeting between the highest level combat forces in the universe. Whenever a new 4th generation god level Lord God is born, the Lord God Conference will be held. All 4th generation god level Lord Gods in the known universe must participate if there is no special reason. However, even so, this name has been remembered by countless 8th and 9th level civilizations. And Nagusa, who had just been promoted to the 2nd generation divine body and was rushing from the Chiwu star system to the Shura Empire, also learned the news. Nagusa left the Shura Empire after the space behemoth incident. She realized that her current strength was too weak, and as the patron god sent to the Shura Empire by the demon civilization, she was already on par with Chen in terms of combat power. So she took the initiative to return to the demon civilization and improve her strength to the 2nd generation divine body level. But now, when she completely mastered the 2nd generation divine body gene in her body and planned to return to the Shura Empire, she heard that the Norse civilization had a 4th generation divine body level patron saint, and the other party also called himself the Shura god, and his name was Mo. It shouldn't be such a coincidence. Nagusa's mouth twitched slightly. Chapter 157, A New Game. Is that Shura god you? After arriving at Shura Empire, Nagusa met Chen. Yes, Chen nodded. He did not intend to hide it. He even wanted to get in touch with the demon civilization and gain friendship with the demon Queen Morgana. You are the demon. It has only been a short time, and you have become a 4th generation god. Where did you get the 4th generation god gene? Nagusa's eyes widened. Who could have imagined that in less than 100 years, a civilization could develop from a 2nd level civilization to a 6th level civilization, and the other party's king could also transform from a 2nd generation super soldier to a 4th generation god. But if it weren't for the fact that all this really happened in front of her eyes, she would definitely think that the person who told her this was a fool. I am not a 4th generation god, but I can burst out the combat power of the 4th generation god. Is that so? Nagusa nodded. No, even if it is like this, it is too exaggerated. Okay, listen, no matter how shocked you are now, this is the fact. And now, the Norse civilization also belongs to me. These words were not said by Chen to Nagusa. What he really wanted to tell was the demon Queen Morgana who stood behind Nagusa. At this level, some things no longer need to be hidden. Only by putting what you have in the open, the other party will know what they can get after reaching a cooperation with you. You can tell Morgana everything you know about these things. Now the Shura Empire does not need to be too afraid. Chen said slowly, aren't you afraid that your empire will be besieged by other level 8 and 9 civilizations? Obviously, although the secrets about R'lyeh are only circulated among level 8 and 9 civilizations, they are also limited to the top leaders of level 8 and 9 civilizations. Nagusa did not know about R'lyeh. At least they won't attack within 1,000 years, unless the Angel Civilization and the Samton Civilization join forces. However, the military strength of the Shura Empire and the Norris Civilization will not be a problem to fight them for 100 years. Chen did not explain anymore. With Nagusa's current strength, knowing those things will only bring disaster to her. What the other party needs to do now is to be the middleman between him and Morgana. Or Chen wants to talk to Morgana about cooperation not now, but in the near future, when the Starfield invasion begins. During that time, the Angel Civilization has no way to get out, and Chen can join forces with the Demon Civilization to take down the Samton Civilization. The reason for choosing the Demon Civilization is that their powerful space technology can quietly bring the armies of the Norris Civilization and the Shura Empire into the territory of Samton. And with the residual power of taking down the Samton Civilization, all those level 5 and 6 civilizations that were driven over can be taken down. After the Angel Civilization has dealt with those things, even if they want to attack, the Demon Civilization, the Norris Civilization and the Shura Empire will join forces, plus the Norris Civilization and the original subordinate civilizations of the Samton Civilization and those subjugated level 5 and 6 civilizations. Even if the Holy Keisha and the Heavenly King Hexi all come, Chen will not be afraid at all, and by that time, Chen has completely mastered the 3-generation divine body genes in his body. With the Super Combat Power Enhancement card, as long as he does not fight a protracted war, he can completely compete with the Holy Keisha head-on. How do you know that they will not attack within 1,000 years? You don't need to know this for the time being. For you, knowing it will only increase the danger. Regarding the matter of R'lyeh, he does not intend to tell anyone in the entire Shura Empire. After the signing of the Expansion Lord Treaty, countless Expansion Lords exchanged space battleships and weapons from the Shura Empire and headed towards the player civilizations around the Shura Empire. Relying on the battleships exchanged from the Shura Empire and the reinforcements sent to them by the Shura Empire when attacking the player civilization, these Expansion Lords are helping the Shura Empire expand its territory at a rapid speed. The efficiency is even higher than that of the Shura Empire sending its own legions to attack. The number of Expansion Lords in the Shura Empire has soared from more than 50,000 to more than 400,000. The entire territory has expanded more than 10 times in just 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years ago, the Shura Empire's army hardly spent any excessive effort. The entire expansion road was completely dependent on these Expansion Lords. The combat training of soldiers and the ability training of officers began to be carried out through the virtual world. Chen also expanded the army crazily in this process. The number of Shura Empire's warships soared from 18 million to 200 million. In terms of the number of space warships alone, no civilization in the entire universe can compare with the Shura Empire. At the same time, the Shura Empire also divided 9 regions and appointed 9 marshals according to these 9 regions, and the number of generals was expanded to 27. Each marshal has 3 generals under his command, and these 9 regions are the Central Region and the 9 regions and 8 directions radiating outward from the Central Region. The 9 marshals were all generals with great military achievements in the past. They were Yun Yuo, who was in charge of the center, as well as Himo, Yu, Renault, Jiba, Hila, Hai Yu, Yun Yao, and Liu Nian. Through such steps, the Shura Empire formed an iron bear-like defense. There were at least 20 million space battleships deployed in each area, and with the continuous expansion of the Shura Empire, the peripheral player civilizations even gave up directly, and did not even fight with the Shura Empire's Expansion Lords, but surrendered directly. While retaining their own troops to the greatest extent, they became the new Expansion Lords of the Shura Empire to carry out new expansion. Obviously, With the establishment of the Expansion Lord Treaty and the players realizing that the Shura Empire really had no way to compete, they began to play this dream world game into a brand new game, from the hegemony of civilizations to the expansion lord of the universe. As a result, this group of players found that after treating Chen and his Shura Empire as an NPC civilization, countless players began to regain the fighting spirit when they first entered this game universe. On the player forum, the overall direction of communication has completely changed to the hope that the Shura Empire will turn them into expansion lords as soon as possible. After seeing this scene, Chen had to admire these players. Even though decades have passed, their imaginations are always so big. If the dream world has emotions, I'm afraid its mentality has collapsed at this moment. I have something to do today, so there is only this chapter. I'm sorry. Chapter 158 Copy Function. Congratulations to the player for successfully conquering 1,000,000 civilizations and obtaining the title of Conqueror of Civilization. Congratulations to the player, the Lord of Shura Civilization, Chen, for obtaining the title of Conqueror of Civilization. The instance function has been enabled. After hearing the system notification, Chen immediately clicked on the new instance function. The content inside shocked Chen. Unlocked Instance 1, Ink Crescent Ship. 10,000 years ago, the current 9th level civilization, the Norris civilization, was only a 7th level civilization in the Miles star field. But at this time, a huge space battleship suddenly landed in the Miles star field. This was the battleship of the famous star pirate civilization, the 8th level civilization, and the Gino civilization in the universe. The war between the two civilizations began, and the Ink Crescent ship battle was the war in which the Norris civilization finally won. Players need to help the Loris civilization successfully capture the Ink Crescent ship and win this war. The points earned in this instance can be exchanged for items that appear in the instance mall after the instance is completed. This instance can only be entered once a year, and the points earned can be accumulated. Unlocked Instance 1, the Battle of Katiman. A battle that took place during the Second Forum War 30,000 years ago. The two sides of the battle were the Angel Civilization, 9th level, the Salient Civilization, 8th level, the Dirk Civilization, 8th level, of the Chen Civilization, and the Napa Civilization, 9th level, of the Triangle Civilization. The Lord of Angel Civilization, Kesha, the 4th generation of Divine Body, made the Triangular Civilization and the entire universe remember the horror of the 4th generation of Divine Body in this war. This battle laid the foundation for the victory of the subsequent physical war, and the Lord of Angel Civilization, Kesha, also became the supreme god of the universe, Holy Kesha. After this physical war, players need to kill as many triangular life and warships of Napa Civilization as possible in this dungeon to gain points. The points gained in the dungeon can be exchanged for items that appeared in the dungeon mall after the dungeon ends. This dungeon can only be entered once every 3 years, and the points gained can be superimposed. There are only 2 dungeons in the entire dungeon system, and both of them have been experienced by Chen. Then the situation is obvious. Either this dungeon system only collects the dungeons that Chen, the person who opened this system, has experienced, or this system actually collects the dungeons that everyone has experienced, but currently only Chen has experienced it. Chen took a look at the points acquisition system of the 2 copies. The criteria for obtaining points removed the item of changing the plot, and the points obtained by killing enemies and warships were reduced by 95%. That's why the right to enter multiple times and the accumulation of points are given. However, the prices in the final exchange mall have not changed. The types and quantities of items are strictly in accordance with those that have appeared in this copy, and this limit will not be refreshed after each copy. Currently, only the copy of the Ink Crescent ship is unlocked, and the Cardman battle requires more than 100 players to reach level 6 before it can be unlocked. If I can challenge this copy again, I would like to exchange the Ink Crescent ship. As an 8th level combat space carrier, the Ink Crescent ship can play a much greater role on the battlefield than those 8th level space battleships of the Norris civilization. The firepower of this Ink Crescent ship of the Gino civilization is not much worse than the 8th level battle fortress of the Norris civilization, but its mobility is far stronger than the war fortress. After all, as a pirate civilization, the Gino civilization has no planet as their home. Their only home is these space carriers. Therefore, most of the precious materials they plundered were invested in these space carriers. Therefore, the space carriers of the Gino civilization are often comparable to the 9th-level space battleships in terms of materials. If the Gino civilization and the Norse civilization did not fight a landing battle in this battle, but fought in the universe, I am afraid there would be no Norse civilization now. The Gino civilization wanders around in the universe, plundering direct resources and weapons, while ordinary civilizations, if they start a war, fight for resource stars. Therefore, the wars fought by the Gino civilization are generally space battles first and then landing battles. However, if Chen controls this space carrier, then this space carrier can exert its true power. After all, Chen will not fight any landing battles. If the opponent loses the Star War but is unwilling to surrender and stays on the main star, Chen will directly fire at their planet, keep bombarding until the opponent surrenders. However, Chen did not enter the dungeon immediately. Recently, because the military power of the Shura Empire has been expanding, the Chamber of Commerce of Chen on the planet Galbia can no longer supply the weapons of the Shura Empire. Entering this dungeon, Chen did not intend to fight with those ordinary soldiers on the land. His goal was already set on the outer periphery of the Norse civilization, the Star War that delayed the Black Crescent ship. However, the Void Bomb was no longer meaningful in a war of this level. It was effective before because the bomb was released inside the Black Crescent ship. If it was released outside the ship, the protective shield on the opposite side might not even fluctuate. Although Chen can burst out the combat power of the 4th generation of Divine Body, it is too slow for him to cut one ship after another. The warships of the Gino civilization are not like the Black Disk of the Nappa civilization. The Black Disk belongs to the type of small space battleships, while the warships of the Gino civilization are all large space battleships. Chen has no way to kill one ship with one sword, so now he can only go to the Norse civilization to find Lameshu to get high-level warship weapons. It's really interesting to use the weapons of the current Norse civilization to help the Norse civilization of the past. Chen laughed at himself. This time, Chen chose to go directly through the Great Insect Bridge. Although it would take much longer than using a space device, he was not in a hurry anyway, so he would save as much as possible. After arriving at the Norse civilization, things became simple. After all, he didn't need many firepower weapons. As far as he knew, in the Battle of the Ink Crescent ship, the Gino civilization only sent 200,000 space battleships. However, it suppressed the 1 million space battleships of the Norse civilization. Excuse me, would you like to enter the dungeon? Ink Crescent ship, enter. The dungeon is loading. The dungeon has been loaded. Chen disappeared on the spot. Chapter 159, Ink Crescent Star Wars Edition. The initial plot was the same as the first time Chen experienced it. However, there was no need for Chen to follow the procedure as before. After listening to the first few beeps, he directly used the Super Combat Power Enhancement card to increase his combat power to the 4th generation of Divine Body level. Then, through his own space ability that had been upgraded to level 8, he directly broke through the space protection layer of the Norse civilization and came to space. At this time, all the space battleships of the Norse civilization were still docked on their own planet. Only the warships of the Gino civilization were in space. And the Black Crescent ship that was in a transmission state with the ground also appeared very clearly in front of Chen. The space battleships of the Gino civilization were all around it, but the number did not reach 100,000. The Norse civilization had previously used false signals to trick the Gino civilization into dividing half of its troops to pursue a non-existent army carrying a large amount of resources. It was also because of this that the Norse civilization was able to migrate their military combat power in space during the Battle of the Black Crescent ship. The Black Crescent ship was not allowed to leave through space means. At the same time when Chen saw them, the soldiers of the Gino civilization on these space battleships also discovered Chen. Soon, the space battleships in the front opened fire. However, At the moment when those laser beams were about to hit Mo Chen disappeared. Alert! Alert! The enemy disappeared. The enemy disappeared. When these space battleships found that Mo Chen disappeared, they immediately began to warn other space battleships. However, suddenly, Mo Chen appeared again, and more than 10 level 8 bombs were dropped directly on him. After dropping the bombs again, Mo Chen immediately used his space ability to transmit to another location. In an instant, more than 100 level 7 space battleships of the Shura Civilization were blown up. The reason why only more than 10 bombs were dropped was that Mo Chen did not use the space device. The space ability he used was only at the level of level 8, and the range of movement was limited. And there were not too many bombs. I frequently teleported and released bombs in the battleship group of the Shura Civilization. Because of his level 8 space ability, the Shura Civilization could capture it. Just now, it was just a surprise attack, and it would be difficult to use it later. The enemy has level 8 space ability, so he should not be from the Norris Civilization. Don't worry about whether he is or not. He has already launched an attack, so catch his trace immediately. We can't let him launch a surprise attack with the same means again. The army of the Shura Civilization immediately began to execute the orders of their superiors and began to collect space fluctuation data around their warships. Then they sent this data to the Ink Crescent ship, which analyzed Mo Chen's position. But Mo Chen did not play tricks. After repeating the same trick once again, Mo Chen began to attack head-on. Every time he attacked a space battleship, if it was a level 6 battleship, Mo Chen would destroy it with his own ability. And if it was a level 7 space battleship, he would drop a level 8 bomb. The opponent's individual combat power level is suspected to have reached level 9, and the power of the bomb he released reached level 8. Level 9, are you kidding me? The commander of the Shura Civilization roared in shock after hearing the news. Try to communicate with the other party. Signal transmission. The other party rejected our call invitation. Bang! The commander punched his table and broke it directly. Damn, this level of existence. The body is as hard as a suspended steel stone. Even if the main gun of the Ink Crescent ship hits him, it can only cause some damage to him at most. Suspended steel stone is the top ore in the universe. Among all the top ores, it ranks third in hardness, but due to its poor plasticity, it does not have the characteristics of good energy guidance, so it is not very useful in practice. Then General, should we retreat? If a 4th generation god really wants to chase us, we can't get rid of him at all. Section Geno dialect, cursing. The battleships are arranged in a 1-4 formation. God-killing tactics. The 1-4 formation consists of 4 level 6 battleships, forcibly delaying a high-level god, and a level 7 battleship is charging to attack. When the warship that was charging for attack released its attack, the other 4 warships rushed forward forcefully to prevent the high-level divine body from leaving. This ensured that the attack of the warship could hit and achieve the maximum effect. But the price was that the 4 level 6 warships would also be within the attack range and would be destroyed. It was a crazy attack method that killed one enemy and damaged 1,000 of its own. But in fact, when one's own side did not have a high-level divine body that matched it, this was the most effective way to fight against a high-level divine body. It's really cruel. Mo Chen sighed. This attack method of the opponent was extremely effective against standard divine bodies like the Angel Civilization, as well as his Berserker-type divine body that was specifically designed for single-target attacks. However, the core of this fighting method was to gradually increase the damage to the divine body and consume the energy of the divine body. Only when these 2 points were achieved could this fighting method be considered successful. But it was obvious that because Mo Chen was wearing this set of armor that had reached the level of 9, it greatly increased the difficulty for the opponent to cause damage to his body. Originally, it might only take 10 such attacks to cause 1% damage to a magical body, but now it might take 30 attacks to achieve the same effect. As for energy consumption, Mo Chen was least afraid of it. The energy stored in the Star Sea Heart he carried with him could fully support a battle of 100,000 space battleships. So the final result was that after the Shura Civilization launched nearly 100 such attacks and lost more than 500 space battleships, Mo Chen was almost unscathed. and there was no shortage of energy at all. Although the opponent is in a 1-4 formation, the gap between each attack is enough for Chen to destroy several more space battleships. Damn, the armor that guy is wearing must have reached the 9th level. General, do we still want to fight? The Norris civilization has definitely discovered our battle. If we continue to fight, I'm afraid we will suffer great losses when the Norris civilization army comes out. Wait a minute, when the Norris civilization army comes out, we will immediately retreat and attract them to chase us. At the same time, let the 50,000 space battleships we sent out before come back quickly. The commander sighed. He was confident that he could suppress the Norris civilization army and was also able to fight against the 4th-generation divine body. But when the two were combined, his army was indeed difficult to deal with, and those space battleships that were sent out before would take at least 3 days to get back. So now they can fight while retreating, and when they meet up with the other 50,000 space battleships, they only need to send a small number of troops to delay the 4th-generation divine body for a short time, and the other troops can completely destroy the Norris civilization army. In the original Battle of the Ink Crescent, it was too late for the Ink Crescent to leave. But now, it is not too late. However, what the commander did not know was that all his thoughts were actually expected by Chen. What Chen was waiting for was the time when the two troops gathered. After all, only in this way could he maximize the points he got in this copy. Chapter 160 Norris's Decision. One by one, warships rose from the main star of Norris. Although the Norris civilization had already made battle arrangements, after seeing the battle situation in the universe, they were unwilling to give up this opportunity. So they gave up the original battle plan and planned to send their own space battleships to fight outside. Norris's space battleships are coming out. Start retreating. The moment Geno's army saw the Norris civilization army coming out, they retreated directly. Naturally, the Norris army would not miss this opportunity and chased them directly. Chen kept slowing down his speed, while ensuring that he could catch up with Geno's army. He was also guiding the direction of the Norris army. In order to ensure the smooth counterattack plan, Geno's army would send a few warships from time to time to actively attract them. However, all these warships were solved by Chen, and this pursuit lasted for 4 days. On the 4th day of the pursuit, the army of the Norris civilization actually planned to give up the pursuit. After all, they knew that the Geno civilization had another legion, and the direction of the other party's escape was consistent with the direction of the false signal released by the Norris civilization. So the Norris military leaders were sure that the other side was thinking of combining two armies to counterattack. It was just that when they were about to retreat, they received the information from the divine body in front that had been guiding them. Follow me, I know they have another army, and I'm waiting for the time when their two armies will gather. Follow me. I will help you destroy them all. Chen's voice spread among the warships of the Norris civilization. General, should we believe him? I'm not sure. The other side is also likely to be from the Geno civilization. They are just playing a trick on us to trick our army to come over. The general of the Norris civilization began to struggle. The Geno civilization has never used this strategy in past wars. And this person directly told us that the Geno civilization has another army coming to counter-encircle us. The staff officer came out. Not using it before doesn't mean that it won't really be used in this way. These are all our information, and it is possible that he is just deceiving us. After all, if we really fight over there, and he doesn't help us but counterattacks us, our army will be completely wiped out here. The general shook his head. But our previous plan has been scrapped now, and it is unlikely to find another chance to defeat them. If we give up this attack, what awaits us is likely to be destruction. The staff officer expressed his thoughts. Alas, the general sighed and opened the communication with the King of Norris. After hearing the general's words, the King of Norris was silent for a long time. General Kirk, now that things have come to this, I have no advice to give. Now all the armies of our civilization are in your hands, and you have all our hopes in your hands. You are a trustworthy general. Please make a choice. No matter what the result is, we will accept it with pleasure. The voice of the King of Norris was extremely heavy. Kirk lowered his head. I understand. Even if we choose to retreat now, it will only be destroyed later. In this case, let's take advantage of this opportunity. The whole army will follow and attack. Karl raised his head and gave an order. After Chen sent the signal, he saw that the army of Norris paused for a while, but soon moved forward again. He knew that the army of Norris Civilization chose to believe in himself. However, Chen didn't care how much the other party had struggled. He just thought that only if the army of the Norris Civilization continued to follow, the Jinuo Civilization would counterattack, and he would have a chance to destroy the other party's fleet. After seeing the Norris army continue to move forward, he began to continue to point out the direction for the Norris army. Poor Jinuo Civilization thought that his plan was perfect, but in fact, the two people he wanted to deceive all knew their plan. Soon another half-day passed, and the Jinuo Civilization was finally about to join the other half of its army. So they started to fight back directly, and their other half of the army would quietly go around to the rear of the Norris Civilization army and encircle the Norris Civilization army. Let your army attack the front with all its strength first to attract their encirclement troops. Their other army does not have a level 8 warship. I can use special means to quickly defeat their army, Chen said to the Norris army. As he said, the Jinuo Civilization relied entirely on the Black Crescent ship to capture his space trajectory. As long as the Norris Civilization puts enough pressure on the opponent's front, the Black Crescent ship will have no way to help their encirclement troops analyze Chen's spatial movement. As long as the opponent cannot capture his spatial movement, there is naturally no way to use the 1/4 battle method to restrict him in time. So the battle began under such circumstances. The army of the Norris Civilization almost launched an attack on the army of the Jinuo Civilization at all costs. Although Chen was also attacking, he had been fighting on the edge to ensure that he could rush over to fight the moment the opponent's encirclement troops came up. General Karl, the opponent's level 8 battle aircraft carrier is too powerful. Our troops are being consumed at a high speed. Don't worry, just continue to attack, as he said before. Karl shouted. The opponent's encirclement troops are coming out. Let the last row of troops meet the enemy, and the other troops continue to follow the original battle plan and put crazy pressure on the opponent's front troops. Chen also rushed over through space migration as soon as the encirclement troops of the Jinuo Civilization came out. That 4th generation divine body disappeared. He went to deal with our encirclement force. The command ship of the Jinuo Civilization was also filled with various voices. Immediately locate the position of the other party's space migration. The commander of the Jinuo army immediately ordered. No, the army of the Norris Civilization is rushing over like crazy. If we divert the computing power of the Black Crescent ship at this time, we will not be able to resist the frontal attack of Norris. Because the encirclement force is far away, the Black Crescent ship will consume much more computing power than before to locate Chen's position. Section: Why doesn't this guy's energy consume? Chen dropped more than 10 bombs and immediately moved away. Only the explosion sparks blooming in the Jinuo army were left. Request support. Request support. The 100,000 space battleships of the Jinuo army are composed of 20,000 level 7 battleships and 80,000 level 6 battleships. Although the Norris Civilization has a total of 1 million ships, almost all of them are level 4 or 5 space battleships. There are less than 10,000 level 6 battleships, and only a few level 7 battleships. If it is a head-on battle, the 100,000 space battleships of the Jinuo army can easily defeat the 1 million warships of Norris. But now, the Norris army only sent 100,000 space battleships to deal with the 50,000 Jinuo Civilization warships that surrounded them. However, because of Chen's joining, they have gained an advantage, and are also consuming the number of Jinuo Civilization warships at a very fast speed. This Jinuo army, which has no way to capture Chen's position, was beaten to pieces. After less than an hour, the encirclement fleet had to give up its original mission and began to retreat, because they have lost more than 3/5 of their warships here. Seeing this encirclement fleet again, Chen did not pursue it. Because it is not meaningful to continue chasing at this time, it is better to turn around and deal with the frontal forces of the Jinuo Civilization. Chapter 161 Isn't Mo Chen an NPC? Then we can start the finishing work. Mo Chen disappeared on the spot. Abnormal spatial fluctuations have been discovered. The location where the fourth-generation divine body is about to move has been located. All warships close to that location rush over and start to self-destruct the moment he appears. The commander of the Shura Civilization stared at the command screen of his command ship with scarlet eyes. At this time, he no longer had any rationality and was completely crazy. He didn't know why the energy of the fourth-generation divine body seemed to be endless, and he didn't know why the army of the Shura Civilization didn't have the slightest confusion when they found themselves surrounded and trapped. It's not that their army had never fought with Shura's army before. The overall strength of the opponent's army was weak, and because of the lack of fighting for many years, their combat literacy was not high. It is impossible for them to be surrounded like now, and still be well organized and burst out with higher combat power than before. He personally ordered their encirclement fleet to withdraw, because he knew that this battle was impossible to win. His side, because of this Black Crescent ship, had stronger combat power and more attraction. Letting the encircling fleet retreat would at least allow them to survive. If they wanted to retreat, then the final outcome would probably be that both sides would be defeated. After all, they were fighting at a distance, and their supplies were definitely not as good as the Shura's army. Another long-distance retreat was simply impossible. Mo Chen groaned. He had just completed the space transfer when he was surrounded by a large number of Shura warships, and the other side did not give him any chance to move, and directly exploded. Facing the explosion of nearly 100 warships, even Mo Chen had no way to resist. Alert! Alert! Body damage value increased by 6%, currently reaching 15%. Armor damage value increased by 14%, currently reaching 27%. Body damage value does not refer to the degree of physical injury, but to the degree of influence on the function of the divine body gene. As long as the function of the divine body gene is not completely eliminated, even if the entire body is completely destroyed, it can wait for hundreds of millions of years like Holy Kesha, and the body will automatically reorganize. In this case, let's have a battle of injury for injury, and see who can outlast the other. Mo Chen also rushed towards the direction of the Black Crescent ship without caring about his life. On the other side, when the commander of the Shura Civilization knew that this war could not be won, he put all his resentment on Mo Chen. He ordered all the warships to completely abandon the firepower attack on the Shura Civilization. The warships at a long distance did not need to care about their own warships, but only needed to fire at Mo Chen. As for the warships close to Mo Chen, they only needed to wait for the other side to get close and explode directly. Alert! The damage value of the body has reached 36%, and the damage value of the armor has reached 52%. Alert! The damage value of the body has reached 48%, and the damage value of the armor has reached 74%. Alert! The damage value of the body has reached 61%, and the damage value of the armor has reached 98%. Alert! The armor has been completely damaged. Alert! The damage value of the body has reached 74%. Mo Chen stood in front of the Ink Crescent ship. He could even see the commander of the other side directly. Ink Crescent ship, start self-destruction. At the same time, Mo Chen also threw out the last 172 level 8 bombs he brought with him. The huge explosion even affected some of Shura's warships. Alert! The body damage value has reached 99.13%. The body preservation rate is 0%. The estimated recovery time is 167,213,176 years, 2 months, 3 days, 4 hours, 5 minutes and 31 seconds. Congratulations to player Mo Chen for completing the dungeon. Entering the dungeon settlement. Task score, SSS plus reward for killing enemies, 1,186,000 points. Reward for survival time, 400 points. Final evaluation reward, 500 points. Total points, 1,186,900. Not bad. Mo Chen nodded. The points he got this time were several times more than the last time he entered this dungeon. This is the impact of the gap in strength. And this is still the level after it has been reduced by 95%. The number of warships destroyed by Chen this time is even 10 times that of the super soldiers killed last time, and the deaths of the super soldiers on these warships are all counted on Chen's head, and he also killed a lot of Shura Civilization gods. The price of the Ink Crescent is 3 million credits. Although I have gained a lot of credits this time, I still cannot afford it. Chen began to wonder whether he should save up the credits first and buy the Ink Crescent, or exchange them for a batch of branch technology blueprints, or the first generation divine body genes, to enhance the foundation and middle level strength of the Shura Empire. There are still quite a few branch technology blueprints. It will take at least 10 years for the Shura Royal Research Institute to master all of these things. As for the first generation divine body genes, the Shura Civilization is currently producing them on a large scale with the resources provided by the Shura Empire. Chen exited the dungeon mall. After exiting again, another screen appeared in front of Chen. This is the dungeon credit ranking. It only records the highest record of credits obtained in a single time. Chen is the leader of the Shura Civilization with 1,186,000 credits, and the second is Sai, the master of the Shura Civilization, with 6,761 credits. After Chen opened the chat channel, he saw Lord of Dani Civilization, Erudairuti, Sai is NB, Lord of Juru Civilization, Lord Mulai, Sai is NB, Lord of Rock Civilization, Dali, Sai is NB, Lord of Silver Gray Civilization, Taika. Congratulations to Sai for becoming the current #1 player. Lord of Gru Civilization, Gru Code. Isn't it Chen, Lord of Chrysanthemum Civilization, Liju? Isn't he an NPC? Funny.jpg, Lord of Neat Civilization, Vala? When can the Shura Empire recruit me? I also want to enter the main storyline. Funny.jpg, Chen looked at these few guys chatting in the chat channel and smiled helplessly. Chapter 162 Standalone Game. After clearing these dungeons in the Dream Realm, they shouldn't affect reality anymore, right? No. Yes. Chen's eyes widened, with a look of shock. You actually answered my question. You successfully obtained all the titles and unlocked the first level of permissions. You can have partial conversations with me and learn some information. Dream Realm said lightly. The first level of permissions means there are also second and third levels of permissions? Yes, but what are the conditions for unlocking these permissions? Chen asked. This question is unanswerable. Well, why was I reborn? Chen had been struggling with this question for a long time, and he had asked Dream Realm more than once. To complete an experiment. Hearing Dream Realm's answer, Chen immediately continued to ask, what experiment? Third level of permissions is required. Third level of permissions. How many levels of permissions are there? 4. Well, what I want to ask is, are you secretly helping my civilization develop? Just as Chen thought before, although he always wanted to get an answer, he would not lose his composure for this answer. He had always thought that since the other party could make him reborn, he would naturally let him know the answer when the time came. Now that he knew that he had this authority, he understood. Yes. In what ways have you helped me? 5 times of changing the destruction of Shura Civilization and 1 time of your death. Added dungeon scrolls to the limited time mall. Added welfare tasks to the dungeon tasks. 4 first generation divine body genes and a device that can control the 3rd generation divine body were swiped out in the real mall at 1 time. 5 times of the destruction of Shura Civilization and 1 time of my death? Chen was shocked. He almost couldn't believe what he heard. What's going on? The first destruction of Shura Civilization, during the space-time invasion, the 2nd generation god of the Death Civilization, Netherworld, was once in a void nest next to the Shura Civilization. I changed his mind and didn't let him destroy the Shura Civilization that disturbed his observation. The 2nd destruction of Shura Civilization, after Nagusa returned to the demon civilization with the demon baby that was converted into a semi-mechanical life form. The demon queen Morgana once planned to follow her to visit the Shura Civilization without Nagusa's knowledge. If she had discovered at that time that the weak Shura Civilization was on the road to empire, she would have directly destroyed the Shura Empire. Although the demon queen Morgana likes to stir up trouble everywhere in the universe, if the Shura Empire is discovered by other level 9 civilizations and it is found that this empire is marked by the demon civilization, then the demon civilization will have a great probability of facing attacks from other level 8 and 9 civilizations. So I changed Morgana's mind and made her not come in the end. The third destruction of Shura Civilization. Angel Yen came here to explore the civilization that has the ability to control time. This matter is very important for the 8th and 9th level civilizations of the universe. So under the original circumstances, Angel Yen would bring a contact angel. If that were the case, everything here would be known by Holy Kesha. So I changed Angel Yen's mind and asked her not to bring a contact angel. The fourth destruction of Shura Civilization. After Angel Yen disappeared, Holy Kesha tried to come here in person to look for her, but I changed her mind. The fifth destruction of Shura Civilization. The main god of the Death God Civilization, Karl, once conducted a biological experiment here 3,000 years ago, and created a pseudo-void life form here. The strength of that life form has reached level 9, but due to the rejection of the main plan and the lack of research data of Karl, the Death God at that time, this life form was destroyed after it was successfully created. But his genes have a very strong repair ability, and it only needs 100,000 years for it to recover. However, the Shura Empire frequently used void bombs to expand, and this crazy dissipation of void energy accelerated the recovery process of this life form. 40 years ago, this life form was only one step away from waking up. But I changed it, delaying its awakening time to 500 years later. Your death. When you were transmitted to the blue star through the space device, your existence was discovered by the Liang civilization. The Liang civilization originally judged you as an invader, but I changed this result so that the Liang civilization did not discover you. The Dream Realm told Mo Chen all the interventions he had made. Mo Chen fell into a long silence. The funny thing is that I used to be self-righteous and thought that many of my things were perfect, and I felt that I was in control of everything after my rebirth. Mo Chen laughed at himself. Isn't this very unfair? You have done so much for me, and you let me be reborn, which is to avoid the destruction of my civilization and my death several times, and secretly continue to help the development of my civilization. What about those other players? Isn't this very unfair to them? Mo Chen said. Mo Chen didn't have such an idea at first, but when he learned from Dream Realm that he had faced death many times, his emotions fluctuated greatly. I have never favored any user. I have always been absolutely fair. Ha. Mo Chen shook his head with a sneer. But soon, his smile froze. User. You just said users, not players. At the beginning, you recharged to Dream Realm, not directly to this game. And your Dream Realm is the superior system of this game system. I am playing a standalone game. Those players are all fake. Either I am the only one who entered the Dream Realm, or everyone has entered, but everyone is playing a standalone game, and we have no connection with each other. Mo Chen's last few words were almost roared. Not all right. Dream Realm was silent for 10 seconds before answering Mo Chen's question. Not all right. That means I guessed part of it. This is something that can only be understood by the second level of authority. I can't tell you the answer. Mo Chen slumped on the ground. He felt that he might as well not ask those questions, as if sensing Mo Chen's emotions at the moment. Dream Realm spoke without Mo Chen asking. The people you saw are real. Then, Dream Realm stopped talking, leaving only Mo Chen, who was slumped on the ground. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163 Angel Yen, The Body of the Void. Are these players real? Mo Chen chewed over this sentence repeatedly in the same place. Are they real to me, or are they really real? Mo Chen didn't know the answer. No. Why should I bother about this? Whether they are real or not has nothing to do with me in essence. As for myself, since I am still thinking, then I am me. and it is enough that I am real, whether this is a stand-alone game or something else. All I need to do is to make myself live better. Chen stood up again. And, no matter what, at least I want to know all the truth. Now it's only the first level of authority, so I will do my best to obtain the second, third, and fourth levels of authority. Who am I? Where am I? Angel Yan opened his eyes and looked around in confusion. After being sent to the pole by Chen, Angel Yan could not sense anything inside. He could not see anything, hear anything, touch anything, or say anything. Even the genetic calculator in his body seemed to be cut off from him. Moreover, the flow of time inside the pole is different from that in the outside world. More than 50 years have passed in the outside world, but thousands of years have passed in it. Angel Yan stayed in this situation for thousands of years. And the most terrifying thing is that she couldn't even fall asleep. For thousands of years, she could always think, but without the help of the divine body gene, she could only think like an ordinary person. She was full of anger at first, and then fell into fear, and slowly the fear turned into numbness. In the end, she forgot everything. She forgot her name, who she was, where she came from, and where she was now. After all, she only has the thinking and memory abilities of ordinary people now, and she has no way to remember these things. But she still remembers two places, the Yaoyuo Great Star region and the Shura Empire. She didn't know what these two names meant to her. She didn't want to know anymore, so she completely gave up the idea of life. So, this spiritual death led to the real death of her body. Then, the sub-biological engine based on the power of the void that Holy Keshaw implanted in her body started. After being unable to perceive the spiritual consciousness of her host, this sub-biological engine automatically helped Angel Yan to resurrect, and through the void ability, sent Angel Yan out of the extreme. However, the revived Angel Yan had completely forgotten everything. As mentioned before, she only remembered the Yaoyuo Great Star region and the Shura Empire. This was not amnesia. Even if she lost her memory, her instincts would still remain. But now she had completely given up her memories of the past. She didn't even know how to control the divine body genes in her body, because many uses of the divine body genes require keys, and Angel Yan has now forgotten what the keys are, let alone how to use them. Queen, Sister Yan's signal appeared. Where is she now? Upon hearing this news, Holy Keshaw stood up from her throne and asked quickly, the Sarnab Great Star region. The specific location is not yet clear, and there is a strong magnetic field interference there. Connect to the signal she released and transmit our information in reverse. Now we can only receive Angel Yan's signal, but because we don't know the specific location, we can't send signals at a fixed point. We can only transmit in reverse through the signals released by the other party. Although the probability of information transmission failure is very high, this is the only way now. Angel Yan felt a buzzing feeling in her head. This gave her a headache, but this buzzing feeling did make her feel that her thinking ability was gradually improving. So she waited patiently for a while, but not long after, she couldn't stand it anymore, so she began to strongly resist this buzzing feeling in her head. Soon, this feeling disappeared completely. My body is uncomfortable. The lack of energy made Angel Yan have a strong desire for energy. So soon a large amount of energy gathered around her. These energies rushed into her body, making her feel a sense of fulfillment. This is the closest position to the void plane formed naturally in the known universe, so there was a strong space-time fluctuation here. The fluctuation of space makes it only possible to enter but not exit here. After entering, everything will be blocked. The fluctuation of time makes the flow of time here very different from the outside world. Although black holes can also produce space-time fluctuations, they are not strong enough to affect reality. It is precisely because this place is extremely close to the void plane that it is filled with a large amount of void energy and is extremely repellent to void matter. The reason why Angel Yan can leave through the sub-biological engine in her body, it was because the void energy here completely transformed the sub-biological engine in Angel Yan's body into a void engine, and also transformed Angel Yan into a void body, and that sense of rejection was the key to her leaving. In addition to the sub-biological engine, Holy Keshaw also implanted an emergency device in Angel Yan's body. This device can assist Angel Yen in controlling the divine body genes when Angel Yen loses control of his divine body genes. But this emergency device was destroyed when the void power transformed the sub-biological engine into a void engine. So Angel Yen has now become an existence that can survive in the void and the main plane at the same time. Her current body is even more perfect than that of the future death god Karl. She can even use the anti-void ability of the galaxy power and the male core power combined with the void ability to transform the things around her and make the things around her change as she wants. This perfect void engine transformed by the void power actively provides all the computing power she needs. Yellow Great Star Region, Shura Empire. Why do I remember these two places? Then will you tell me who I am? Angel Yen began to convey her desire to go to those two places. The void engine received this intention, so it began to actively help Angel Yen to transfer from the void plane. In just a moment, Angel Yen arrived at the border of the Shura Empire. Queen, I don't know why, Sister Yen disconnected the signal communication with us. We lost her signal again. Holy Keisha frowned. When she got Angel Yen's signal before, she tried to communicate with Angel Yen's sub-biological engine, but the result was that there was no such sub-biological engine at all. It was even more outrageous than before. She could sense the existence of the sub-biological engine before, but she couldn't locate it, so she was not so anxious. But now the signal of Angel Yen's divine body gene appeared, and the sub-biological engine disappeared completely. And the signal of the divine body gene only appeared, and disappeared again after a while. Go to Sarnab the Star Region. I must know what happened. Chapter 164, Be Prepared. How come there is a strong void fluctuation again? Death God Karl was doing research, but the Great Clock suddenly reported this news to him. The Great Clock would not report the occurrence of void fluctuations to Death God Karl for no reason. After all, there are many civilizations in the universe that study the power of the void, but the power that most of them can release is equivalent to the level 6 and 7 void fluctuations of the void bomb. The Great Clock is usually responsible for monitoring the level 8 and 9 void fluctuations. Currently, in the known universe, the only other civilizations that have reached the 8th and 9th levels of void research are the Death God Civilization and the Angel Civilization. Among the Angel Civilization, only the Holy Kesha is secretly researching it. After the 8th level, she gave up directly after creating a sub-biological engine. Therefore, after the God of Time Jilin traveled in the universe, the only person who truly possessed the advanced power of the void was the Death God Karl. Sarnabuda Star Region. How can there be such a strong void fluctuation there? As the first person in the known universe to study the void, Death God Karl is one of the few people in the known universe who knows the existence of the pole. He once tried to study it through the Great Clock. In the end, he failed because it was too dangerous there. Before he finished studying his void body, he had no way to get deep into it for research. But he could also analyze that although it was full of void energy, it was also extremely repellent to void energy. It was impossible for void energy to reach the outside world and cause strong void fluctuations. The only possibility is that there is another group of people studying void energy in the known universe. They did some kind of experiment there and brought out the void energy inside. Death Karl closed his eyes. He needed a while to think carefully to decide how he should deal with this matter. Yoming, Hunming, Yuanming. Each of you three carries an 8th level void beast and immediately goes to Sarnab the Star Region to investigate the cause of the void fluctuations there. All three of them are 3rd generation god body, plus 3 8th level void beasts, 6 8th level combat power. They can almost walk sideways in the known universe. Is this the Shura Empire? Angel Yen looked around. She was still in the universe, but through the virtual engine in her body, she can detect the information around here. This is a vast empire. There are tens of millions of life stars and billions of resource stars. This civilization has something called the Expansion Lord. Each of these millions of Expansion Lords has at least thousands of space battleships under his command, and this empire itself has a powerful army. But when she tried to explore the information of the army, she was blocked. This empire has a king named Chen, who is called the Shura King by his people. This empire took less than 100 years to develop, 100 years ago, it was just a second-level civilization, and her current location is the border of the Shura Empire. There is a marshal and 3 generals of the Shura Empire stationed here. The total strength of their 4 legions has reached 20 million space battleships. And more specific information is still not available, and has been blocked. According to the people of this empire, this Shura king is an omniscient and powerful existence. Then he must know who I am and where I come from. Angel Yen thought about it and had an idea to go to the capital of the Shura Empire, but she didn't move over immediately, because she suddenly felt a strong hunger again. It's just that this is not the Sarnafu star region, and the void engine can't gather too much void energy to replenish itself at one time. After finding that his idea could not be realized, Angel Yen simply flew directly in the direction of Shura star. Shura God. Just now there was a very strong data flow that wanted to invade our database. Although I tried to stop it, the other party successfully detected some of the data. Yin Ling said to Mo Chen, "This is the 9th level computer of the Norris civilization." After Lameshu obtained the right to use this 9th level computer, Mo Chen let this 9th level computer be responsible for the database confidentiality of the Shura Empire. After all, Zhao is only a 6th level computer now. For the enemies that the Shura Empire is about to face, it really can't play any role. Any 4th generation god body can easily invade it. But now this situation is enough to shock Mo Chen. After all, this Silver Spirit is a 9th level computer. Even if the confidentiality of the Shura Empire database only accounts for 10% of its computing capacity, with Zhao's assistance, about 1% can be added. It is not something that a normal 4th generation divine body can quickly crack. This shouldn't be the case. Alarm! Alarm! An unknown divine body appears in Marshal Yuru's garrison area, and our army cannot stop it. The enemy has entered the Tanyun province. The enemy has entered the Gaiyu province. The enemy's route of action is towards Shura star. Our army tried to intercept, but when approaching the enemy, all our warships were disassembled. The enemy has entered the Liluo province. Mo Chen looked at the image data sent by Zhao. This divine body that suddenly broke into the Shura Empire was the Angel Yen who was sent to the pole by him decades ago. But now, the opponent's speed of movement and the strength he showed are far stronger than the 3rd generation divine body. In particular, the opponent's ability to instantly disassemble thousands of space battleships approaching him into parts, and there was no explosion, made Mo Chen feel a little numb. This ability is not possessed by any of the 4 generations of divine bodies in the known universe, so naturally, there is no way to deal with it. However, Mo Chen could guess that the other party should have conceptually decomposed these warships. It was similar to the Zhangxin ability used by Xiaolun, the future galaxy power, but how could she master such an ability? Mo Chen was puzzled. Whether in the previous life or in the animation, Angel Yen had never shown any ability related to the void. The only thing that could be related was the sub-biological engine. The other functions of that thing were unknown, but its main function was only to resurrect Angel Yen. But before Mo Chen could finish thinking, Zhao's voice appeared. "The other party has appeared above Shura star." Mo Chen immediately left the palace and flew over. Mo Chen met Angel Yen again. Mo Chen stared at Angel Yen with a very serious expression. The Super Combat Power Enhancement card has been used, and he is always ready for battle. "Do you know who I am?" Angel Yen asked. Chapter 165 Emperor Mo Chen and Shura Royal Family Yen. "Do you know who I am?" Angel Yen looked at Mo Chen, his eyes full of expectation. Mo Chen looked at Angel Yen with suspicion. He felt that the other party was playing him, and he had evidence. "So you don't know who I am?" Angel Yen's expression turned from sunny to cloudy. She felt that the people of this empire were deceived, and this Shura king was not an omniscient and omnipotent person at all. "Your name is Yen," Mo Chen said. He felt from Angel Yen's facial expression that the other party was not playing him, and there was a high probability that he really lost his memory. But even if he lost his memory, it was not good news for Mo Chen. After all, he knew that the angels of the divine body level of the angel civilization had a positioning system in their genes. That is to say, the angel civilization should have known the location of Angel Yen by now. and it is very likely that Holy Keshaw is on the way. Although the Dream Realm said that it would help the Shura Empire to avoid being destroyed by the NPC civilization to a certain extent, but Mo Chen did not expect or hope that the other party would help him every time. My name is Yan. Yan scratched his head. Then where did I come from? Isn't it in the database of a god body gene in your body? Mo Chen was not sure what was going on with Angel Yan. God body gene database. Angel Yan repeated the words Mo Chen said in confusion. There was no reaction in her body. What neither of them knew was that after the Void Engine felt that Angel Yan was disgusted with the information sent by the Angel Civilization, the Void Engine directly destroyed the Angel God body gene in Angel Yan's body. After all, Angel Yan had been transformed into a void body. Even if the God body gene in her body was destroyed, Angel Yan could still live well. Angel Yan now can't even be called an angel anymore. The Angel God body gene was destroyed, not to mention the existence of any database. No, Mo Chen couldn't believe it. Although the operation of this kind of thing requires a key, for people who have been using it all the time, it should not be necessary for ordinary calls. Yan may have lost her memory, so she didn't know, but now that Mo Chen has told her, it is unlikely that she can't call it. Where are your wings? Wings? Yan looked at her back in confusion. I don't have wings. Don't you have wings too? Can't you summon the angel wings in your body? Summon angel wings? Yan thought for a while, and the Void Engine sensed her thoughts, so a pair of void wings appeared behind her. Void power. Mo Chen could clearly feel the void power on the pair of wings. Mo Chen thought to himself. On the other hand, Yan was very curious about the pair of wings that suddenly appeared behind him. They flapped left and right, appearing on the left and right of Mo Chen, having a lot of fun. Can you sense the Angel Nebula? Mo Chen asked Yan. Angel Nebula? Yan tilted his head and thought about it. No, I feel so hungry now. If I'm full, I might be able to do it. Yan shook his head. Hungry? Mo Chen quickly realized that what the other party meant was that he needed energy. Mo Chen tried to transfer his energy to Yan, but the energy he transferred was quickly rejected. No, what you need should be void energy. Mo Chen pressed his temple. Void energy. The Shura Empire does have this thing, but it's all in those void bombs. And why can she only accept void energy? Even the power of the galaxy can absorb other energies greater than you. Haven't answered my question yet. Where did I come from? After playing for a while, Yan finally remembered his main purpose. Mo Chen pondered for a while. Your original identity is actually the royal family of our Shura Empire. Huh? But your existence is only known to me in the Shura Empire. Mo Chen knew that Yan had a very powerful information invasion ability, so he could only say this. I am a royal family, but doesn't that mean I can also be the Shura king? Yan's eyes suddenly lit up. No, why can't I do it? You are not a royal family, just a side branch, so you don't have the right to inherit the Shura king. Yan lowered his head. So in a sense, you should call me brother. Seeing Yan like this, Mo Chen suddenly had a bad taste. You are lying. You are less than 100 years old. Although I don't know how old I am, I know that I have lived for a long time. I am definitely older than you. Yan did give up all her memories, but this does not mean that she has no sense of time. Well, okay, in fact, you are older than me. Stare. Yan clearly felt that the other party was a little flustered just now. You are indeed a member of our royal family. Just now, Mo Chen communicated with Yinling through the encrypted channel, and asked the other party to quickly forge a false certificate that Yan is a member of the royal family. This is a data communication between the 9th level computer and the 4th generation divine body gene. Even the Void Engine in the Angel Yan's body cannot capture it. Mo Chen sent the data forged by Yinling to Yan. Huh? Is it really true? I thought you were lying to me? Yan blinked her big, Kazilin eyes. Then why wasn't I in the Shura Empire before? That's because of the damned Samton civilization. Mo Chen pretended to be extremely hateful. The Norris civilization is a secret subordinate civilization of our Shura Empire. But the Norris civilization has a clear enemy, which is a very powerful civilization called Samton. But the combat power between our two civilizations is equal on the surface, so we didn't have a real war. But Samton hated our Shura Empire, so he secretly kidnapped you from our Shura Empire. and after threatening us, he killed you in public and sent you to the most dangerous place in the universe, the pole. I don't know how you got out now." Chen was indignant during the story, and he spoke as if it were true. "This Samton civilization is really hateful. Alas, that's not right. If I am really a royal family, and there really was such a thing as before, why did you act like you were facing a great enemy when you saw me just now?" Yan found a loophole. "That's because you didn't have such strength before, and there are many ways to change one's appearance in the universe, so I couldn't be sure that you were Yan before." "Really? Really? Okay. Then you have to call me sister in the future. Don't try to lie to me like you did just now and make me call you brother. Also, I'm hungry. Find me something to eat quickly." Of course, of course." Chen showed an excited look of reuniting with Yan after a long time, and welcomed Yan into the Shura Palace. Chapter 166, Conversation with Morgana. "So, you want to tell me that the guy is Yan, the left-wing guard angel of the original angel civilization?" Nagusa pointed to the woman who was eating and drinking in the palace on the display screen. "There is no way, because Yan's Void Engine's invasion ability is too strong. As long as Yan has a little curiosity, he can easily obtain the surrounding information." Chen is not afraid that his information transmission will be intercepted, but Nagusa's is not necessarily, so the two can only hide in a conference room in the palace now. "I sent her to a very dangerous place before. Theoretically, she can't come out again, but now an accident happened. Not only did she come out, but she also gained very powerful abilities. Even I am not her opponent. But the good news is that she seems to have destroyed the angel body gene in her body, and she also lost her memory." Chen answered Nagusa's question. "Then you lied to her and said that she was a royal family of the Shura Empire?" Nagusa's eyes widened. She didn't expect that the man with thick eyebrows and big eyes in front of her could do such a thing. "There is no way. Although this guy's IQ and analytical ability are still there, his overall mental state has declined to that of a child. He is full of curiosity about everything, and his emotions are extremely unstable. I don't want to be an enemy of such a guy. Not only is he stronger than me, but there is no way to discuss any interests with him." Chen sighed. Nagusa stared at Chen, feeling that this guy was a bit shameless. He obviously got a level 9 combat power for free, but he pretended to be extremely reluctant. "So, what do you want now?" "I don't know the specific situation of the angel civilization, but I think I need you to do me a favor now." "What favor?" Nagusa asked. "You have become a second-generation divine body now, and you should be able to serve as a central medium to establish a super long-distance chat channel. I need to have a conversation with the Demon Queen Morgana." Chen stared at Yan on the screen. "What do you want to talk about?" "To make a deal." Nagusa looked at Chen for a long time. She felt a little melancholy. She was just a weakling at first, but in a blink of an eye, she could already stand on equal footing with Queen Morgana. "Then you'd better make some preparations, so as not to be eavesdropped by the guy outside." Nagusa raised her head towards the screen. "Yeah." Chen communicated with Yinling and mobilized 40% of the other party's computing power. The Void Engine was too strange, and Chen did not dare to underestimate it. "Let's get started. I have shielded the signal around her, and she can't detect our conversation." "Okay." Nagusa nodded. Her eyes turned white, and data streams continued to appear from them. "My queen." "Shasha, what's the matter?" "The king of Shura Civilization wants to talk to you about something." "That Shura god?" Morgana had already learned about Chen's situation from Nagusa. When she first learned about it, she was shocked for a while. "What does he want to do with me?" "I don't know. Okay. Then let's meet and have a good chat," Morgana said. Nagusa pulled Chen into the chat channel. When Chen entered the chat channel, he did not speak immediately, but reinforced and upgraded this channel. Then this channel changed from being able to chat only with voice to being able to chat with holographic video. Chen looked at Morgana, who appeared opposite him, wearing heavy makeup, a black combat uniform, and a pair of demon wings on her back. The other party has been releasing a special signal, which has a strong temptation effect on creatures, and will make the other party involuntarily believe in Morgana's words and be controlled by her. This signal can even affect the existence of the second-generation divine body level, but it has no effect on the third-generation divine body and above. Most of the fourth-generation divine bodies in the known universe will use such power. This is to better consolidate their rule, and those level 8 and 9 civilizations in the known universe will create various ideas. For example, the fallen freedom thought of the demon civilization, the justice thought of the angel civilization, the fallen destruction thought of the death civilization, and the stable and stable thought of the scorching sun civilization. In addition to being the embodiment of the values of those main gods, they are looking for a way to develop their own civilization. It is also to consolidate their own rule. After all, they have no way to directly control the divine bodies of more than 3 generations. These main gods need such an idea to guide the high-level bodies under them. In fact, it is these ideas that make those level 8 and 9 civilizations powerful. Unlike the Norse civilization, the original royal family was obsessed with P after their civilization reached the level of level 9 civilization, and they were thinking about building good relations with other level 9 civilizations. As a result, they were counterattacked by Idaraka on the way to P with the Samton civilization. But after Idaraka came to power, he also did not bring Norse a kind of civilization thought, and he was still fighting with the neighboring Samton civilization. So Norse gradually became the weakest existence among the level 9 civilizations. I really didn't expect that the Shura god, who has been making a lot of noise in the known universe during this period, was born in the subsidiary civilization of our demon civilization. Morgana looked at Chen with interest. In fact, the demon civilization has not done anything for our civilization. Chen shook his head. The reason why I chose the demon civilization was to facilitate my expansion in the way of technological development I chose. But in the end, the Shura civilization did not encounter any crisis that it could not solve, but Nagusa could solve. So Chen naturally did not want to owe Morgana a favor. Humphrey, then what is the matter with you this time? Morgana snorted coldly. I want to discuss a cooperation with you. The distance between our two civilizations is 1,000,000 miles apart, and your civilization cannot be compared with our demon civilization, even the Norse civilization. Morgana actually said this with confidence. After all, although the demon civilization is not the strongest of the 9-level civilizations in the universe, and has been hunted by the angel civilization, it is much stronger than the Norse civilization, which is the last civilization among the 9-level civilizations. What is being said here is not only the high-end combat power, but also the influence in the universe. What I want to tell you is that I am not under the Shura civilization. What is that? It's the Shura Empire. Chen said calmly. You are crazy. You are absolutely crazy. Morgana looked at Chen in disbelief. Chen frowned and kicked Nagusa out of the chat channel. Don't worry, because of Reliant, my real enemies are only the Angel Civilization and the Samton Civilization. Hearing the word Reliant, Morgana's pupils shrank. What do you want to do? To join forces with you to destroy the Samton Civilization. Chapter 167 Arrival at Sarnafu. Do you know how difficult it is to destroy the Samton Civilization? Morgana did not comment. The demon civilization is only ranked in the middle among all the 9-level civilizations. The angel civilization is the strongest among all the 9-level civilizations. The gap between the two is even greater than the gap between the top 8-level civilization and the Norse civilization. But even so, the angel civilization could not completely destroy the demon civilization. This is because the 9th-level combat power is almost indestructible. Even if the opponent's body is destroyed, it is difficult to destroy the opponent's divine body genes before destroying the body. Instead, if the opponent's 9th-level combat unit cannot be completely destroyed, this civilization cannot be called destroyed. There are far more civilizations in the known universe that have the ability of genetic resurrection than the demon civilization. Even the angel civilization has the same technology. The Samton civilization has 2 level 9 combat forces. What I need is to use the technology of the demon civilization to launch a sneak attack on their level 9 combat forces. Even if I am included, we only have 3 level 9 combat forces in total. Even if we fight one alone, we can't quickly decide the outcome. Once the second one arrives, your sneak attack plan will fail. Morgana shook her head. What if we have a 4th level 9 combat force? Chen looked at Morgana. He didn't immediately look for the demon civilization to cooperate because he felt that he was not prepared enough. But when Yen came, all preparations were no longer necessary. 4 level 9 combat forces. No civilization in the universe has more than 4 level 9 combat forces, including the Angel Civilization. The 4 level 9 combat forces joined forces to attack, which is enough to kill a 4th generation divine body within 10 seconds. Where did you get the 4th level 9 combat force? Morgana looked at Chen suspiciously. An angel with amnesia. Chen retrieved Yen's information. Are you looking for fun with me? Morgana's mouth twitched a little. He naturally recognized the left-wing guard beside the Holy Keshaw, who had killed many demon warriors in the previous war. She came to investigate the existence of the Shura Empire, and I threw her to an extremely dangerous place, but later she came out. The angel body gene in her body was destroyed and turned into a brand new power with a 9th level combat power, but she lost all her memories of the past. Chen only said these words. Is that so? Morgana sneered. I just don't know what expression Keshaw, that bitch, would have if she knew about this. So are you willing to cooperate? Chen didn't care about Morgana's ridicule of Keshaw at the moment. What can our demon civilization get from this deal? Morgana has realized that if they cooperate, they do have the ability to destroy the Samton civilization. You can have a quarter of the resource stars and affiliated civilizations of the current Samton civilization. It sounds good, but our demon civilization wants 1/2. Chen shook his head. There are 4 level 9 combat forces participating in this war. According to the number of level 9 combat forces, the Shura Empire takes half, the Norris civilization takes 1/4, and you take 1/4. The Norris civilization rebelled not long ago. After the rebellion, a new king was born, and you became the patron saint of the Norris civilization. This should be your push from behind. That Yan is probably your men now, which is equivalent to you taking 3/4 alone. Morgana would not accept such a distribution method. Then you can't take 1/2. Humphrey, if you want to take down the Samton civilization, you will inevitably need our space technology. This is a technological difference. I have the right to expand my profits. Secondly, if I expose the existence of your Shura Empire now, you will soon be attacked by the Angel Civilization and the Samp Civilization. This is the handle in my hand, and I also have the right to expand my profits. Chen looked at Morgana and was silent for a long time. Okay, I agree. You demon civilization can take 1/2. Okay, that's great. So when will we take action? You demon civilization, being chased around in the universe, will definitely choose to take root there if you get half of the territory of the Samton civilization. With an empire like ours next to us, at least we are on the same front when facing the Angel Civilization. But if we stand on the same front, the Angel Civilization can't do anything to us. So you'd better get ready and bring all your people to the Norris Civilization first. When the time comes, you can move in directly after the territory is divided, so as not to be taken advantage of by others when you're not there. Chen said lightly. You are quite considerate of your partners. Okay, anyway, I'm not in a hurry. If something really happens, you should be the ones to be anxious. The two stopped chatting. How is it? Nagusa blinked and looked at Chen. It was a pleasant conversation. It was indeed pleasant. After all, Chen originally planned to give half of the profits from the fight against the Samton civilization to Morgana. He said 1/4 before, but it was because he knew there would be a round of bargaining. If he said half directly, the other party might increase it to 3/5. That's good. Nagusa breathed a sigh of relief. She really didn't want Chen and Morgana to have any unpleasantness. After all, Morgana was her queen, and she had very complicated feelings towards Chen. Sarnafu Star Region. Search, check for me. We must find Yen's trace. Holy Keshaw looked around and said to the angel warriors around her. Yes, the angel warriors scattered. Holy Keshaw sighed. She has been under a lot of pressure recently, because the time for the Relia database to be broken is approaching, and all forces in the universe are ready to move. At the same time, the top divine bodies that Chen civilization researched back then are afraid that they will appear soon. Not long ago, the void fluctuation appeared in the universe, but it was not only the death god civilization that captured it. The demon civilization was not successfully destroyed. Now another civilization that controls time has popped up, and her left-wing guardian has mysteriously disappeared. There is still a position for the right-wing guard, so let's keep it for the mellow celestial court. The universe is now in turmoil, and Holy Keshaw wants to get help from her sister who is already in semi-retirement. However, just as the angel civilization arrived at the Sarnafustar region, Nether and 4 others also arrived. Why are the people of the angel civilization here? Nether and others discovered the angels, but because they also had semi-finished void devices on their bodies. Holy Keshaw did not discover them. Don't worry about them, go to Area 0 first. The pole is the name given by the players, and Area 0 is the name given by the god of death Karl. He has a total of 10 experimental areas, named 1 to 10 by him, although he has not really carried out experiments here. For the god of death Karl, the value here is far greater than the other 10 experimental areas. Chapter 168 2 Civilizations with Worries. There is indeed a large amount of void energy here. It seems that other forces want to attack the 0 experiment area. No, there is a problem. These void energies came from the 0 laboratory. This is impossible. The 3 were extremely shocked by the results of their discovery. There are only 2 possibilities. Someone went in and came out again, or there are lives from the void plane. The voice of the netherworld was a little trembling, because they did not believe that there was any civilization in the known universe that had a higher achievement in the void than the death god Karl. Even the death god Karl would die if he entered here, and it was even more impossible for other people to enter. Let's inform the dean of what happened here first. Although the death god civilization is called a civilization, it is actually a group of low-level beast civilizations led by the death god Karl. The real leadership role is actually the death god Karl's Death Song Academy. The students in it are those who the death god Karl has plundered from various civilizations and who he believes have research talents. After entering the Death Song Academy, these students were brainwashed by the death god Karl, and they were devoted to the death god Karl and helped him study the void together. Netherworld and the others are both students of the god of death Karl and teachers in the Death Song Academy. I never thought that you disgusting guys would come here. A voice suddenly came from the dark plane into their minds. The 3 turned their heads and found that Holy Keshaw had appeared behind them at some point. After Holy Keshaw appeared, angels came here one after another. Angel King, we have no intention of offending you. Our dean found that there was a very strong void fluctuation here, so he sent us here to check. Netherworld bent down. With Holy Keshaw's presence, they did not want to cause a conflict. Is Karl still studying something like the void? Holy Keshaw sat on her throne, supporting her chin with one hand, and said very lazily, the dean firmly believes that the void exists. The communication between these advanced civilizations in the universe is like this. Everyone knows it well, but they still have to talk about it in a mysterious way. Forget it. Keshaw shook her head. I don't want to argue with you. An angel has disappeared here, and we need to explore. The 3 netherworlds communicated secretly. We can't let the angels explore like this. Void life is suspected to have appeared here. Before the dean arrives, all the information here must be preserved intact. We can't deal with Holy Keshaw. The angels around her are all 1st generation and 2nd generation divine bodies. One of the 3 of us will stop them. The remaining 2, together with the 3 void beasts, are enough to delay until the dean arrives. The void beasts cannot be exposed to the angels now. Special cases should be handled specially. If there are real void life here, the value it can bring is enough to exceed the loss caused by our void beasts being discovered by the angel civilization. What if there are no real void life? The 3 found that it was difficult to discuss a solution in a short time. The situation here is very important. We can help you find your missing angels while exploring. Impossible. Keshaw refused. The dean will come here in person. He can't beat me. Holy Keshaw is extremely confident. In terms of individual combat power, she is 2nd, and no one dares to claim to be 1st. After exploration, Holy Keshaw can also confirm that this place is where Angel Yen left the last divine body signal. At the same time, the remnants of the void power and the divine body signal of Angel Yan appeared. If there were no ghosts in this place, Holy Keshal would not believe it at all, so Holy Keshal had to explore this place. Do it. Holy Keshal moved her fingers, and the angels around her immediately surrounded the three people from the netherworld. There is no other way. The people from the netherworld were about to summon the void beast. Wait, not far from the area where they were, a huge black crack appeared out of thin air. The god of death Karl slowly walked out of it. Queen Keshal, why bother to do it? Why not explore together? Although Holy Keshal was very confident, she was still a little afraid of the god of death Karl. The only one in the known universe who could suppress her was the god of time Jilin, who had already traveled through the universe. And the god of death Karl was the most outstanding apprentice of the god of time Jilin, mastering 80% of the knowledge of the god of time Jilin, and inherited the most powerful supercomputer in the universe, the big clock, in the hands of the other party. And computing power is one of the most important bases for measuring the combat power of a divine body. Holy Keshal can confirm that she can be the god of death Karl, but she is not sure how long it will take and what price it will cost. Okay, she didn't want to really fight with the god of death Karl. Recently, many civilizations in the universe have begun to stir, and she can't let her combat effectiveness be damaged at this stage. So the people of the two civilizations tacitly investigated around this area separately. It's not a void life. Someone successfully came out of the zero experimental area. Angel Yan's divine body gene was destroyed here. These are the results obtained by the two civilizations. It's just that neither side shared the information they obtained, and both left with heavy hearts. And the main cause of all this, I want to watch the virtual league. The princess can stay in the palace and watch the live broadcast. I want to go to the scene. As a member of the royal family, the princess must maintain her dignity and cannot go out to play every other day, but she should also be appropriately close to the people. You are not close to the people. You are called playful. Xing Feng was extremely troubled by this new princess of the Shura royal family. Judging from her appearance, she should be a cold style. Why does she think about playing every day? Xing Feng, who had just become the commander of the royal guard beside Mo Chen, never imagined that his mission would be to take care of this playful and powerful princess. Chapter 169, Killing the Fourth Generation Divine Body. We're here. Mo Chen received the signal from Morgana. Mo Chen stood up from his throne. Got it. He walked to the backyard of the palace, where a total of 3,000 gorgeous residences were built, all for the contemporary Shura king's harem and princes and princesses to live in. However, since Mo Chen did not marry a wife or concubines, no one has lived here for a long time, so not long ago, Mo Chen gave all the residences here to Yan. It doesn't matter where she wants to live or play. Mo Chen actually has no other requirements for Yan, just that she doesn't use her abilities to cause trouble in this palace or on this Shura star. Speaking of which, this virtual battle league has been getting bigger and bigger. Maybe it's time to enter a new mode. Mo Chen came to Yan's side. Come with me. What's the matter, little brother? Since Mo Chen admitted that Yan was older than him, perhaps Yan was extremely dissatisfied with Mo Chen asking her to call him brother, so every time they met, she called him little brother. Didn't I tell you that the Samton civilization kidnapped you before, and wanted to break the agreement and kill you after we reached a deal? This time we are going to destroy the Samton civilization. Mo Chen said. Oh, let's go. To be honest, although Yan believed what Mo Chen said before, she didn't have any hatred for the Samton civilization, because she didn't have any memories. She didn't feel much after listening to what Mo Chen said. Let's go to the Norris civilization first through the space device, Mo Chen said to Yan. Mo Chen knew that Yan could use her void power to forcibly take herself or the people around her to any place she could think of in the universe. It's just that this process will consume a lot of her void energy. The void power captured by the death god Karl is just the void power that Yan accidentally released after coming out of the pole. Yan himself is a perfect void body, and using void energy will not cause any void fluctuations, so the death god Karl never captured Yan's traces afterwards. So Mo Chen chose to go to Norris with Yan through the space device. At this time, the Norris civilization was also on high alert, with 10 million regular troops ready to go. Behind their fleet, There were 50 million space battleships of the Shura Empire. Compared with these two civilizations, the demon civilization seemed relatively shabby, with only more than 10 battleships in the entire civilization. There was only one in the anime, but here, there would definitely be more than one. But all these battleships were level 8 battleships, and all the demon warriors on them all had combat power of at least the first generation of god body level, although the total number was only 200,000. But in fact, the demon civilization had far more than just these few people. Because of the many battles with the angel civilization, their homes were destroyed again and again, so the demon queen Morgana chose to save all the demons below the god body level in the form of genes. Until they found a new home, she would let these demons live normally in the form of demon life again. It's really that left-wing guard. After Mo-chan and Yen arrived, Morgana talked to Mo-chan through the dark plane. I advise you not to provoke her. I have 2 level 9 weapons, a level 9 armor, and a level 9 supercomputer, but I'm still not sure I can beat her, Mo-chan warned. Mo-chan knew about the demon queen's ability to cause trouble. Humphrey, she's just a little girl. Morgana said it hard, but she was actually shocked. She knew that Mo-chan didn't need to lie to her, because it wouldn't take long for her to attack and kill the 4th generation divine body of the Samton civilization. She would naturally be able to see the opponent's combat effectiveness. Be prepared. This battle is divided into 2 parts. The first part is that we will use the space technology of the demon civilization to forcibly kill a 4th generation divine body of the Samton civilization. The second part, after we successfully kill the 4th generation divine body, the entire army, with the help of the space technology of the demon civilization, will directly kill into the periphery of the main star of the Samton civilization and take down the Samton civilization and all its affiliated civilizations within one day. Yes, let's go. Morgana opened a space crack and looked at the 2 people and a combat robot behind her. Mo-chan entered first, and Morgana was the last to enter. We need to hide in the space channel first and find the weaker 4th generation divine body of the Samton civilization. Yes. Found it. About 10 minutes later, Morgana found the other party's position. The 3 of them and the 9th level combat robot of the Norris civilization quickly left the space channel and rushed directly to the 4th generation divine body. Because the 4th generation divine body itself has extremely strong computing power, when Morgana locates the other party's position, the other party will also notice it at the first time. What? The 4th generation divine body looked at the 4 figures that came out of the space channel in disbelief. At the same time, the main god of the Samton civilization, Rilnok, also knew the information of the attack at the first time. When he knew that the target of the attack was the 4th generation divine body, he rushed to the location of the 4th generation divine body at the first time. Yan looked at the 4th generation divine body, and the idea in his mind was to kill it. However, even the void engine in her body could not easily kill a 4th generation divine body. But even so, it caused great damage to the 4th generation divine body. Before the other 3 9th level combat forces came to him, under Yan's control, due to the huge gap in computing power, the 4th generation divine body completely lost control of his body. He could only watch himself floating in the air in despair, but he could not move at all. At the same time, there was great pain inside his body, and his internal structure was suffering from constant damage. And this was only the first second. In the second second, Mo-chan and his men arrived. Mo-chan's 2 9th level long swords carried the energy of killing gods and stabbed him. Morgana's demon claws were also flying towards him. On the other side, the 9th level combat robot was accumulating energy to release an energy shock. In the 3rd second, Mo-chan's double swords pierced the body of the 4th generation divine body, but because the body of the 4th generation divine body was too hard, it could not penetrate directly. Morgana's demon claws also grabbed him, but because the opponent's body was too hard, there was no way to destroy it for a while. The combat robot was accumulating energy. In the 4th second, due to the powerful destructive power of the void engine, the body structure of this 4th generation divine body collapsed internally. Mo-chan's double sword successfully penetrated his body, and the energy of killing gods continued to damage his body genes. The demon claws also successfully tightened, causing more serious damage to the body structure of this 4th generation divine body. The 9th level combat robot is still accumulating energy. In the 5th second, the body damage of this divine body has reached 25%, and the damage of the divine body gene ability has reached 31%. The 9-pole combat robot is still accumulating energy. In the 6th second, the body damage is 38%, and the damage of the divine body gene ability is 41%. The combat robot continues to accumulate energy. In the 7th second, the body damage is 52%, and the damage of the divine body gene ability is 53%. The combat robot ends the energy accumulation. In the 8th second, the body damage is 68%, and the damage of the divine body gene ability is 64%. Raynok arrives here. The combat robot releases energy shock. In the 9th second, the body damage is 81%, and the damage of the divine body gene ability is 75%. Raynok attacked Morgana because he thought that Morgana was controlling the movement of the 4th generation divine body. At the 10th second, Morgana gave up the attack and turned to face Raynok. The 4th generation divine body was hit by the energy. The body was destroyed 100%, and the genetic ability of the divine body was destroyed 100%. The armies of the 3 civilizations began to rush into the periphery of the main planet of the Samton civilization. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170 The Death of Raynok. Great. 4 Level 9 Combat Forces. Shura God, you are really ruthless. And you, Morgana, aren't you afraid of being destroyed by the angel civilization? Raynok's eyes widened. It's the same reason, Raynok. The universe is now undercurrent, and the angel civilization warriors can't spare any hands. As long as the civilization at home is destroyed, we have 4 level 9 combat forces here, and we don't need to fear the angel civilization, Chen said calmly facing Raynok. Beside him, Morgana, Yan, and the level 9 combat robots were ready for battle at any time. At the same time, one after another 3rd generation and 2nd generation divine bodies surrounded them. Yan, you clean up the miscellaneous soldiers, and leave this guy to the 3 of us. Okay. Yan nodded. Morgana didn't object either. She could see the powerful ability Yan had shown before. What do you want? Maybe we can talk about it. With 4 4th generation divine bodies and the army sent by the demon civilization, just got the information, Raynok had to choose to surrender. No need. What we want is your entire civilization and your life. Chen, Morgana, and the 9th level battle robot directly fought with Raynok. Yan controlled the surrounding divine bodies through the void energy. Ordinary 2nd generation divine bodies were quickly decomposed by the void energy and were conceptually eliminated. Only the 3rd generation divine bodies could barely resist the destruction of the void energy. You must die here today. Chen slashed at Raynok with 2 swords, but was blocked by Raynok with a trident. But at the same time Morgana's demon claws also grabbed Raynok. Under the control of the 9th level weapon, Raynok had no way to get rid of it in the first time. At the same time, the energy shock that the 9-level battle robot had previously given the 4th generation divine body the last blow was shot out again. Boom. Raynok was blown away. Damn, my demon claw. You cheating robot. It's not enough to have already bombed it once before. Chen, you must accompany my demon claws. Morgana roared. Cough, cough, cough. Raynok struggled to get up from the ruins. His right leg was torn in the previous attack, and he could only stand up with the help of the trident. You can't kill me. Raynok's whole body suddenly released a huge light. He wants to disintegrate and destroy his body to preserve his divine body gene structure. He wants to be resurrected in the future. Morgana shouted. Yan looked at Raynok. Disintegration is prohibited. Raynok showed a look of astonishment. He felt that with the appearance of this sentence, the disintegration of his body was actually stopped. The void engine kept Raynok's body intact in concept, Chen also seized this opportunity and inserted 2 swords into Real Nox's body. The god-killing energy in his body rushed into Real Nox's body frantically. Fear appeared in Real Nox's eyes. No, even if I die, I will drag you to be buried with me. Real Nox looked at the 4 enemies in front of him frantically. A black crystal appeared in his hand. Black hole crystal. Chen looked at the crystal in shock. He didn't expect that Real Nox would have such a thing. Black hole crystal is a treasure formed naturally in the universe, but no one knows how it is formed. But its effect is extremely terrifying. Only the divine bodies of the 3rd generation and above can use it. After using it, the user can use the power of the black hole, but the general 3rd generation divine body can only rely on this crystal to forcibly condense a supergiant black hole that lasts for 10 seconds. If the 4th generation divine body uses it, it proves that the 4th generation divine body will use its own body as a carrier to freely control the energy of a supergiant black hole, but it can also only last for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, the divine body of this user will be completely destroyed, and there will never be a possibility of resurrection. Don't even think about it. Chen tried to stop Real Nox, but it was one step too late. Real Nox crushed the crystal. However, the energy in the crystal did not flow into Real Nox's body, but into Chen's body. Chen screamed in pain. He could feel his body being destroyed crazily by the dark energy. You didn't expect that. Even if you can kill me, you will definitely die today. Real Nox laughed. Chen activated the black hole energy in his body, but did not kill Real Nox immediately. Instead, he used this energy to torture Real Nox crazily. Chen, Yan shouted anxiously, "Damn this!" Morgana grabbed Yan and the level 9 combat robot and ran away from here crazily. Let's die together. However, Real Nox's laughter gradually faded, because he saw a smile on the corner of Chen's mouth. Do you really think that I will die if you do this? Chen used the black hole energy to almost completely destroy Real Nox's body. But when the destruction of Real Nox's divine body reached 99.5%, Chen suddenly stopped. I will let you die with despair. Chen's body was destroyed by the black hole energy under the witness of Real Nox. But soon, in Real Nox's shocked eyes, Chen's body did gradually recondense. Impossible. No one can survive under such energy. Real Nox's voice was full of despair and anger. And this was the last sentence he said in this world. Bang! Real Nox's almost shattered body fell to the ground, and his divine body gene was completely destroyed by Chen. You are not dead. Morgana's voice came from behind Chen. When the movement here disappeared, Morgana and Yan returned here again. I'm not that easy to die. Chen threw down the 2 long swords in his hand that were almost completely destroyed. Let's go. Real Nox is dead, and this war can end. Chapter 171 Early Start Activities. Although the high-level combat power of the Samton Civilization was killed, Chen and his team planned to completely defeat the Samton Civilization, so the frontal battle and pursuit battle lasted for a total of 5 days. After 5 days of fighting, all the resource stars and life stars of the Samton Civilization were occupied. According to the agreement, you can take half of the resource stars. I can let you choose first. At the division meeting, the power of the Samton Civilization was divided equally between the Demon Civilization and the Norse Civilization. The Shura Empire did not get any benefits, because now to some extent, the Norse Civilization is a subordinate civilization of the Shura Empire. Although the residents, soldiers and grassroots officials of the Norse Civilization did not know all this, the news of the destruction of the Samton Civilization also spread to every corner of the universe. This could not help but shock all the middle and high-level civilizations in the universe. After all, this was the only 9th-level civilization that was destroyed after the destruction of the Universe Empire more than 10,000 years ago. The news that the Demon Civilization and the Norse Civilization joined forces also made many civilizations in the universe very wary. For a long time, if a war breaks out between 9-level civilizations in the universe, if one side wants to completely destroy the other side, it will not succeed unless the actual gap between the 2 sides is very large. Because this time it was stopped by other 9-level civilizations in the name of balance, The reason why the Angel Civilization has been chasing the Demon Civilization but no other 9-level civilizations have stopped it is not only because the Angel Civilization is too powerful, but also because the space technology of the Demon Civilization is too terrible. There are only a few 9-level civilizations in the universe that can deal with the space infiltration technology of the Demon Civilization. No civilization wants its high-level combat power to face the risk of assassination, so they are unwilling to let the Demon Civilization develop. At the same time, they are worried that they will not be able to wipe out the Demon Civilization in one go, which will lead to retaliation, so no other 9-level civilization is willing to help the Angel Civilization attack the Demon Civilization. However, now, the Demon Civilization has joined forces with the Norse Civilization and quickly destroyed a relatively powerful 9-level civilization. After having a 4th-generation divine body as a patron saint, the Norse Civilization already has 2 9-level combat forces, plus the Demon Queen Morgana. This alliance has 3 level 9 combat forces. With the space technology of the Demon Civilization, it can easily and quickly destroy a level 9 civilization with only 1 level 9 combat force. In such a situation, other level 9 civilizations should unite to launch an attack against them to check and balance them, but now because of the Relia database, no level 9 civilization is willing to be the first to take action, so a group of level 8 and 9 civilizations, under such circumstances, began to attack the weak civilizations around them earlier than Chen's previous life, in order to obtain resources and create high-level combat forces. After receiving this news, Holy Keshal suspected that Goyen's disappearance before was related to the Norse civilization. However, due to the unscrupulous expansion of other level 9 civilizations, the Angel Civilization had no spare energy to attack the Demon Civilization and the Norse Civilization for a while. So everything was as Chen expected. And no level 9 civilization took measures against the alliance between the two civilizations at the first time. The Demon Civilization can gain a period of growth, and the Shura Empire can also fully face the Starfield invasion activity that will come soon. Have the two of them collected the combat data? After everything was over, Morgana asked the demon in charge of data collection in her civilization. Morgana had instructed them long before the battle began. We successfully collected part of the combat data of the Shura god, but the combat method of the female 4th-generation divine body named Yan was too strange, and we could not analyze her physical data and abilities. From the intuitive combat reaction, she seemed to be able to suppress and control other divine bodies, but we did not feel any special energy fluctuations, so we suspect that the means used by the other party are some kind of ability that has never appeared in the known universe. Never appeared. Morgana pondered. Suddenly, a signal was received by Morgana's genetic computer. Why did Karl look for me? He should be asking about this alliance, but why should I tell him? Morgana arrogantly rejected Karl's call invitation. Then send me the battle data of Chen, so that your queen can see the results of your work. The demon in charge of the data department transferred the battle data they collected from the supercomputer to Morgana's personal gene computer. Yes, it is indeed the divine body gene of the Chen system that uses the energy of the God's layer. Morgana had already discovered this during the previous battle. Body hardness, movement speed, computing power. Wait, why do most of the data ratios look so familiar, as if I have seen them a long time ago? Greater than. It's the ratio, not the data. Because it has been upgraded to the 4th-generation divine body level, the data has been improved, but the ratio is still the same. Morgana frowned and began to check the information in her memory database. This is the 3rd-generation divine body of the Salient civilization that fell on the 2nd divine body war 20,000 years ago. How come the data ratios of their two divine bodies are so similar? Greater than not long ago, after sensing that her memory of the Kamati battle had changed and suspecting that a civilization with the ability to control time had appeared, Morgana specifically looked at all the divine body data she had obtained from Hexi at that time. Chen had never expected that someone would still remember the battle data of a fallen 3rd-generation divine body 20,000 years ago. Could it be that the person did not die, but lived for another 20,000 years and became a fourth-generation divine body, becoming the current Shura god Chen. No, that person must be dead. That is, there really is a civilization with the ability to control time that changed history and did not affect the normal development of the main universe, but they resurrected the third-generation divine body in the process. Greater than Morgana was silent. She began to wonder whether she should send a message to Karl, and now tell him what he guessed and listen to his opinion. After all, his wisdom was second only to hers in the past. Just listen for fun. No, I just rejected it. I'd better ask again in a few days. I still have to save face, Morgana thought to herself. But because of this delay, the next time Morgana contacted the god of death Karl was 50 years later. After careful consideration, the god of death Karl decided to go to the pole himself to see what happened. Please pay attention to all players. The Star Invasion event is about to begin. The duration of the event is unknown. Because of Chen, this event started in the 92nd year of the game, 8 years earlier than Chen's previous life. Chapter 172 Justice Must Exist. Chen, Yunfeng. The problem now is that I will not let go of the points for this large-scale event, but once our Shura Empire takes action, all the NPC civilizations that are invading the Interstellar will be taken down by the Shura Empire, which will easily cause resentment from others. So I want to hear your opinion. Chen sent this message to Yunfeng. For this event, Chen's Shura Empire army can easily defeat all those level 5 and 6 NPC civilizations before they reach the barren land where the players are. But if he does this, other players will not get any points for this event, and they will inevitably resent him, which is not conducive to the prestige that the Shura Empire has established among the players. Nor is it conducive to the Shura Empire's current policy of development through players. Yunfeng, boss, actually, even if you really do this, it's okay. After all, everything is based on strength. The players also know that the gap between you and them is very large. But no matter what, you are still a player after all. Even if the players now regard you as an NPC, doing so will eventually weaken their enthusiasm for becoming stronger. So I think, maybe you can make compensation measures for the players. Compensation measures. Chen was stunned after seeing Yunfeng's reply. It's not that he didn't think about compensation, but the problem is that there are still more than 4 billion player civilizations, and up to now, the Shura Empire has only incorporated more than 100 million player civilizations. Even if he wants to compensate, it can only cover those players incorporated by the Shura Empire. Chen, how do you think we should compensate? Although I have a lot of resources at hand, I can't give everyone satisfactory compensation. Moreover, the Shura Empire has only incorporated 100 million player civilizations. If I want to compensate, the radiation range cannot cover all players. Yunfeng, boss, I think you may not have fully put yourself into your identity as an NPC. As an NPC, the way to compensate players is not just to directly issue resource rewards. You can also issue tasks or announce activities yourself. After hearing what Yunfeng said, Chen also realized that he had fallen into a misunderstanding. Now with Yunfeng's reminder, a plan for how to compensate has immediately emerged in his mind. Chen, thank you. I already have a solution. Chen convened an empire meeting. Yunfeng woke Chen up. Since all the players are now working for the Shura Empire for free, then the role he plays must not only be an NPC, but also closer to the type of game planner. As a game planner, the most important thing is of course to make players have the illusion that they are working hard to create revenue for the game company and think they are making a lot of money. Chen had a plan in mind that would allow players to get compensation and make a profit, but in order to implement this plan, he still needed to discuss it with officials in the Empire. How dare you? Angel Jin looked angrily at the beastly beings that had reached the divine body level that appeared around her. There were more than a dozen angel corpses beside her, and she was the only one left in their angel combat team. This is the Yuan civilization, a level 5 civilization, but it was attacked by a reserve army of a level 8 civilization. Although it was only a reserve army, there were nearly 100 first-generation divine bodies and 3 second-generation divine bodies among them, and this cruel invasion war was discovered by the Angel team patrolling in this area. Their Angel team had a total of 16 people, including 2 second-generation divine bodies and 14 first-generation divine bodies. The strength of this team was already good, but they had no way to fight against such an enemy. But for the justice they believed in, they still resolutely rushed up to fight. Because of their existence, this civilization was not quickly conquered, but the result was sad after all. One angel after another died in the battle. In the end, only the captain of this team, Angel Chen, was left to persevere to the end. She destroyed more than 10 Rhino warships and killed 6 Rhino men of the first generation of divine body level. But she was exhausted, with scars all over her body and little energy left. Angels are indeed the most beautiful life in the universe. Boss, why don't you leave her to the brothers? A Rhino said to their chief. Although he has a Rhino face, people can still feel the wretched smile on his face. After hearing what his men said, the chief of the Rhino was also a little moved, but he thought of their mission. Hurry up and kill them. Don't forget our mission. Before the armies of other level 8 and 9 civilizations arrive, we will immediately retreat with the resources here. These level 8 and 9 civilizations that are plundering will immediately deploy defenses on the resource star thereafter each successful plunder of a level 5 or 6 civilization, and take the plundered resources back, because they not only need to avoid the obstacles of those level 8 and 9 civilizations that cannot accept their plundering behavior, but also need to guard against those level 8 and 9 civilizations that are also plundering. Queen Keisha will definitely make you accept the punishment of justice. After Angel Chen said this, she was brutally killed by the Rhino. Such things are happening in countless places in the universe. Even if civilizations below level 5 are plundered, the benefits are not great. It takes a lot of military force and time to fight against level 7 civilizations, so countless level 5 and 6 civilizations were destroyed. In the previous life, there were a total of millions of NPC civilizations that were able to escape to the wasteland where the players were. But this was only less than 1,000th of the number of civilizations that were plundered. And these civilizations that escaped here began to attack the weaker player civilizations. This is the norm in this universe. The life and death of weak civilizations have never been in their own hands. So the justice of Holy Keisha may be too extreme, but it must exist. Chapter 173 Ubalt, Lord of the Clouds, Lord of Shura Civilization, Chen. Vit 10, ladies and gentlemen, in this Starfield invasion event, Shura Empire will defeat all of the invading NPC civilizations before they enter the area where our players are located. Shura Empire is willing to compensate for the losses caused to all players in this process. To this end, Shura Empire will hold an event for all players, the Road to Exploration. There are countless powerful NPC civilizations in the universe. Before our player civilization becomes strong enough, we will face the danger of being invaded by those NPC civilizations at any time. Therefore, in order to encourage players to develop their own strength, Shura Empire has launched this event. The event will last for 5 years. Shura Empire will give players points based on the changes in the power value of each player and the benefits of the expansion lord. After the 5 years are over, all players can use their points to exchange for warship bodies, genes, weapon branches, scientific and technological drawings and other resources in Shura Empire. The details of this event have been announced at the Shura Empire auction house. All players can go and check it out. The changes in each player's points can also be checked there. This news will be pinned on the World Channel for 1 day and 1 night. In this way, players can be stimulated to obtain more resource stars and life stars, and when these players become expansion lords, these will be transformed into the income of the Shura Empire. At the same time, this activity can also stimulate players to start wars with each other, increase their combat experience, so that they can fight against NPC civilizations in the future. This will also accelerate the Shura Empire's incorporation of all player civilizations. However, in order to prevent death fights between players, any player who destroys another player civilization will deduct points. After these players obtain these points, they can exchange them for high-level weapons and equipment in the Shura Empire. and then start expansion wars against NPC civilizations. In the end, the Shura Empire became a more powerful cosmic empire than the empire 10,000 years ago. Mo Chen's words caused an uproar among the players. Although the players knew that Mo Chen was very strong, they never thought that Mo Chen would have the confidence to say such words. However, because they did not know the overall strength of the Shura Empire very well, many players did not take Mo Chen's words seriously. Of course, Mo Chen didn't care about this matter. After the entertainment function was turned on, players could use this function to broadcast live, so as to get blue diamond currency rewards used in exchanges and auctions. But Mo Chen's goal was certainly not blue diamond rewards. The blue diamond income of the Shura Empire auction house has so far exceeded the divine diamonds that Mo Chen recharged at that time. 1 divine diamond equals 10 blue diamonds. Mo Chen's Shenya Chamber of Commerce on the Jirbia star can develop so rapidly because it has the support of the Shura Empire auction house. Of course, now that it has developed, the Shenya Chamber of Commerce and the Shura Empire auction house have become complementary. The main purpose of Mo Chen's live broadcast is to show his strength to the players and tell them that he is fully capable of providing such an event. Then I should go to the outer edge of the wasteland next. Mo Chen entered the space bridge tunnel of the Shura Empire. Holy Kesha, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. We are both 4th generation divine bodies, so there is no need for me to be afraid of you. The Lord of Clouds, Ubalrat, looked coldly at the angels who appeared in front of him. Ubalrat, you've crossed the line. Using weak civilizations to fill the gap with strong civilizations is an unchanging truth in the universe. Normally, there are no special circumstances, and we would listen to your so-called justice order. But at this moment, do you think anyone will listen to your justice order? Ubalrat sneered at the words of Holy Kesha. Justice order is bound to become the truth of the entire universe. The behavior of your Gilnot civilization has touched the bottom line of justice order. I must make you accept the punishment of justice. A pair of silver wings appeared behind Holy Kesha. Are you going to take action on our Gilnot main star? Kesha, you are so arrogant. A golden longsword also appeared in Ubalt's hand. At the same time, 4 people appeared beside Ubalt. They were all 3rd generation divine bodies, but their equipment and weapons were all level 9. The Gilnot civilization is best at the manufacturing technology of level 9 weapons. Their civilization does have only 1 level 9 combat power, but it has 8 quasi-level 9 combat powers. The comprehensive strength ranks among the top in the entire universe. With the increase of this set of level 9 equipment, the personal combat power of Cloud Lord Ubalt can be ranked in the top 10 among all level 9 combat powers. This ranking also includes battleships and combat robots. Humphrey, it seems that you have sent out the other 4 guys. Holy Kesha sneered. Even if the 4 of them are not here, you can't defeat us. Ubalt and the 4 3rd-generation divine bodies with quasi-level 9 combat power beside him rushed towards Holy Kesha. You hold back the other 2nd and 3rd-generation divine bodies, and leave these 5 guys to me. Kesha said to the other angels. Silver cross sword formation, Ubalt shouted. With his order, the other 4 quasi-level 9 combat powers chased to the 4 sides of Holy Kesha. The armor on their bodies began to release a strong energy. This energy formed an energy cage around Holy Kesha, and there were continuous energy shocks in the cage to hit Holy Kesha. However, at this time, weapons appeared around Holy Kesha's body. Thousands of weapons, each of which was a level 9 weapon. All the energy shocks were blocked by these weapons. Is that all? The silver wings behind Holy Kesha shook, and a terrible energy was released, instantly breaking through the energy cage formed by the 4 quasi-level 9 combat forces. However, at the moment the energy cage was broken, Ubalt appeared in front of Holy Kesha. The golden sword in his hand directly stabbed into Holy Kesha's face. Ding! A huge silver shield appeared out of thin air, blocking this sudden attack. I think you have not forgotten how I destroyed their entire legion in the war 10,000 years ago. These thousands of weapons attacked Ubalt at the same time. Hui! Morgana thought it was great. Just as these weapons were about to hit Ubalt, a powerful gravity field was released from his armor, making it difficult for these weapons to move forward. At the same time, The 4 quasi-level 9 combat forces also killed to the side of Holy Keshaw, thus interfering with Holy Keshaw's control of these weapons. HMPH. Holy Keshaw wrapped herself with silver wings to block the attacks of the 4 quasi-level 9 combat forces, and then controlled the level 9 weapons with power. Bang! Ubalt released an energy shock and hit back the weapons that attacked him. Stop, we withdraw. Ubalt's voice came from the thick smoke produced by the explosion. He walked out of the thick smoke. I hope you keep your word. Holy Keshaw didn't want to say more nonsense. This was just the first level 9 civilization she visited. There were many level 8 and 9 civilizations that she needed to visit one by one, and those guys couldn't be dealt with as easily as Ubalt. After seeing Holy Keshaw leave, Ubalt stabbed the golden sword in his hand heavily into the ground. This crazy woman actually brought 10 judgment spears. Just now, Ubalt saw 10 judgment spears among the level 9 weapons that attacked him. A disposable weapon that can blow up a level 9 battleship with one shot. Chapter 174 Morgana's Conflict. An unknown army appeared in the B5 garrison area, and Lieutenant General Nald has led the army to attack. An unknown army appeared in the H6 garrison area, and the other side is negotiating with us. An unknown army appeared in the D1 garrison area, and the other side took the initiative to attack our fortress. Chen established a total of 162 garrisons, each of which was guarded by a lieutenant general. Every 9 small garrisons gathered into a large garrison area, and each large garrison area was guarded by a general, in order to ensure that all NPC civilizations can be blocked from the desolate area where the players are located this time. Chen mobilized a total of 20 legions, totaling 1.6 billion space battleships. These garrisons were obtained after analysis, and those escaping civilizations are most likely to pass through. There are a total of 18 legions of troops in the garrison area. There are also 2 legions on standby in the rear. If there are civilized troops outside the garrison area, or if a stronger or more enemies appear in the garrison area, these 2 legions will go to support. Moreover, although battles in all areas here are being broadcast live, after entering Chen's live broadcast room, players can freely choose to watch the live broadcast of a war zone. Sons, Dad loves you. Oh my, so many troops. Are you kidding? Players can create an ID in the entertainment function, a smile that makes the city fall. This queen is shocked, begging for recruitment. A lot of barrages flashed wildly on the live broadcast platform. This is the result of only looking at quantity and not quality. After so many years of development, the Shura Empire has completely eliminated the 4th level space battleships. The 36 main legions of the entire Shura Empire, plus a series of other legions such as the Imperial Guard, have a total number of warships that have exceeded 3 billion. The worst of these warships are 5th level space battleships, and 1/20th of them are 6th level space battleships. With the current strength of the Shura Empire, which is not considered a high-level combat power, it can already fight 2 or 3 9th level civilizations with not particularly strong military power on its own. My goodness, this guy is really scary. Yunfeng couldn't help but sigh as he watched the battle between the Shura Empire and the NPC Civilization army in various locations on the live broadcast screen. In his personal chat interface, there was actually an email, but after watching this live broadcast, he deleted the email. This was the only remaining player force among the players who were unwilling to submit to the Shura Empire. They found Yunfeng and wanted to persuade Yunfeng to rebel. Yunfeng did not answer them, but he did not tell Chen about this. His heart was actually quite complicated. He knew Chen's terrible strength the most, but he also knew the least, because he had never faced the power of the Shura Empire directly. But he was also the one who knew the Shura Empire's strength the most among all the players. But no matter how deep he understood, he could only understand the Shura Empire's superficial strength. He himself did not know much about the Shura Empire's true combat power. So when he saw this email, he really fell into thinking, because this was the last chance. But now that he had seen this live broadcast and the true combat power of the Shura Empire, he did feel a little bit of fear. When he gave this plan before, he was only thinking about how the Shura Empire could subsidize other players, and he had never thought that the Shura Empire could really take over this game activity. I underestimated it after all. After seeing the true strength of the Shura Empire, Yunfeng also gave up the idea in his mind. In addition to the war of the Shura Empire that this player was following through the live broadcast, the new neighbor of the Norris civilization, the Demon Civilization, was also paying attention to this war. Damn, is the military strength so exaggerated? It is worthy of the development model of the Universe Empire. Morgana complained crazily on her Demon Queen. The Demon Civilization has been investigating the strength of the Shura Empire through its powerful space ability recently, so the war that the Shura Empire is currently conducting has naturally been discovered by the Demon Civilization. Queen, their military strength is probably 10 times that of ours. Acho, Morgana's first general said. Although the Demon Civilization has a small number of troops, its quality is very high. They are all composed of extremely high-level space battleships and divine bodies. Therefore, the Shura Empire may be hundreds of times larger than the Demon Civilization in terms of military size, but its overall strength is only about 10 times stronger. I can see that, Queen. Morgana rolled her eyes. Queen, you are wise and brave, and you have great wisdom and strategy. Of course, you have known these things for a long time. Acho, the biggest licker in the known universe, said immediately. Okay, of course I know that I am smart, but this Shura Empire is so powerful, and it is not easy for us Demon Civilization to stay on the side. Morgana sighed. It is obvious that her free thinking will not be suitable for an imperial civilization like the Shura Empire, and because of the previous alliance, the current Demon Civilization has inevitably stood on the same side as the Shura Empire in terms of strategy. If there are other level 9 civilizations that really want to target the Shura Empire in the future, the Demon Civilization may find it difficult to pick itself out. This is of course not a very happy thing for the Demon Civilization that advocates freedom. Moreover, the Shura Empire was too powerful, and the Demon Civilization would be controlled by it and many things in the future. Morgana did not tell others about her concerns, because she knew that if her people knew about this, they would definitely persuade her to leave. But Morgana also saw their excitement when they got this new home. Morgana looked at the war scene of the Shura Empire with a complicated look, and sighed secretly in her heart. Chapter 175 Future Expansion Direction. Ahem. Keisha spat out a mouthful of blood. She had just experienced a battle, in which she was seriously injured, but she had been suppressing it until she left this civilization. Queen, are you okay? The surrounding angels immediately surrounded her. In fact, they were also covered with scars. In the battle just now, they even had several sisters sacrificed. This is the Igil civilization. This civilization does not have a 4th-generation divine body. It is a 9-pole civilization that develops scientific and technological weapons. It is also a civilization that Holy Keisha is very afraid of. The comprehensive strength of this civilization can be ranked in the top 5 among all the 9-level civilizations in the universe. This civilization only has 2 9th-level combat forces, but their strength is very terrifying. In fact, this civilization has also seriously violated the justice order of the Angel civilization. They not only wantonly transform their bodies, but also directly abandon their bodies, so that the life form of the people in this civilization is completely transformed into a data flow mode. However, only the top people of this civilization can be converted into data streams. As for the bottom people, they are just tools for reproduction. They are more like breeding animals than people. If the children they give birth to have high IQs, they will be trained to become top people. If they have low IQs, they will be directly transformed into beings similar to spiritual bodies and become food for those top people. Those with normal IQs will become a new round of reproduction tools like their parents. The top people of this civilization are called data consciousness life by other civilizations in the universe. Each data consciousness life will create countless backups for itself, and refresh its own data in these backups all the time. Whenever their main body is killed, a backup will be awakened. At the same time, they can also use their special data consciousness control ability to forcibly affect the dark plane, and use the dark plane to cause data consciousness impact on other life forms around them. This kind of attack is difficult to resist even for the Holy Kesha, which is more terrible than the brainwave attack of the Triangle Civilization. At the same time, this civilization also has a large number of combat armors. In addition to the spell damage of data consciousness during combat, they will also use combat armor to cause physical damage. This time, the Ideal Civilization also attacked those level 5 and 6 civilizations, so Holy Keshaw had to go to stop them. In the process of stopping them, she forcibly withstood several extremely powerful data shocks, which had a great impact on the genetic calculator in her body, and thus also affected the genetic function of her divine body, causing her body to be seriously injured. The Ideal Civilization has been dealt with here, and my body has been seriously injured. I will return to the Angel Nebula to rest for a while. During this time, I can only rely on you to stop the attacks of those civilizations. For justice. 2.5 years have passed. During these 2.5 years, the army of the Shura Empire has been clearing out and incorporating those NPC civilizations that have fled here from the periphery of the player area. So far, no NPC civilization has successfully entered the area where the player civilization is located. This also resulted in all players except Chen only getting the minimum points for this activity task, that is, to ensure that their civilization is not destroyed. And in 2.5 years, they only got 2,500 points in total. But Chen's points are 27561462555427. In the previous life, the highest level of exchange items in the exchange mall after this event was level 8. Among them were the 3rd generation Divine Body Genes, level 8 space battleships, level 8 weapons, level 8 armor, and various level 8 branch technology blueprints. The exchange price of these things is generally around 100 billion, and in the previous life, the civilization that gained the most in this event only gained less than 1 million points. Moreover, if it weren't for the fact that the Shura Empire often incorporated the armies of these civilizations, the points that Chen could gain might have doubled. At the same time, in the past 2.5 years, the Shura Empire has also increased its expansion speed several times through the activities held by Chen before. Now it has incorporated 1/3 of the player civilizations, with a total of 1 billion. In less than 3 months at most, the Shura Empire will completely incorporate all player civilizations, and then begin to gradually expand outside the desolate area. Of course, this was Chen's original plan. After all, now that the expansion lord system has been added, players are constantly expanding. If the Shura Empire stops them, the player civilization will inevitably have wars within the Shura Empire for various reasons. But if they are allowed to expand, then there is no doubt that it will attract the attention of other level 9 civilizations. Chen does not want to expose the existence of the Shura Empire to all level 8 and 9 civilizations now. However, the communication from Dukao of Blue Star gave Chen a second choice. Although it is unknown why Dukao thought about it for so long, after decades, Dukao finally agreed to the suggestion Chen gave him. He agreed to Chen's plan to build a space wormhole for the Shura Empire around Blue Star. However, he also made a request, that is, a considerable amount of resources must be provided to Blue Star every year. Chen naturally guessed the purpose of this resource. It must be to manufacture weapons used by the Galaxy Force and others in the future. After all, the weapons they used in the original plot were too weak, especially Xiaolun's. A sword was used by Zhou and was broken. It was not comparable to the Devil's Claw, Silver Wing and other weapons. Considering the future, Chen agreed. As long as the space wormhole on Blue Star is built, the Shura Empire's army can pass through Blue Star and enter the remote area of the Chiwu star system in another direction of the known universe, and use this place as the second base to start the second round of expansion. In this way, it will not be easy to be discovered by other level 8 and 9 civilizations in the universe. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.